everyone, to episode 147 of the podcast. I'm host Caleb Peng, joined by Coriander himself.
Coriander, let's go.
I forgot to tweet this out. By the time this episode comes out, I probably will. But I see that your official passport came in.
Yeah.
And for those that don't know, I'm gonna show on the YouTube version. Here's the evidence. It was on his Instagram. His actual government passport has Goku.
Yeah, man.
Has Goku on it.
Yeah. My
Kingdom
passport
of Great Britain.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my old passport, it had I think 3 months left. And some countries, they have this thing where you can't travel to them if you have less than 6 months left on your passport.
Yeah. Or because it's they don't want it to expire while you're traveling, right?
Yeah, but bruv, you know what? There's some countries where they say that, yeah, and I'm like, who's trying to smuggle themselves into you? You know what I mean, isn't it? Do you know what I'm saying? I think China's one of them, yeah.
They want to feel like they're on the up and up, even if they know they're not the hot stuff these days, right? You gotta at least sell it to people, right? Yeah, because if they can't even get tourism to come by, then their economy's never getting any better, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying, isn't it? Yeah. So you need to take as many people as you can get. Yeah. You want to take people who've got 1 month left.
They don't want them to stay there. They just want them to, they just want them to give their money and leave, right?
Yeah. So yeah, basically, I've got a wedding in a few weeks, and
the one in Greece, right?
Yeah, and so that's one of the places where you need longer than 6 months. Greece, I kind of get. I think Greece seems to be an entryway into Europe for a lot of people. So
yeah.
But yeah, so did the whole ordering thing, and it came quicker than I expected.
Do we have any PvP players from Greece?
There definitely are, because I know there's a few factions teams that are from Greece. In terms of the most well-known ones, there's Pokesquark, who's from Greece, but he lives in Luxembourg. So
yeah, that doesn't really count though, because he could easily go to the European tournaments.
Yeah,
I'm saying
people can as well.
No, sorry. I'm not. Let me rephrase that. I'm not saying is there anyone of Greek origins that plays PvP. I'm saying anyone that actively lives in Greece that plays PvP. Because you don't have to be of Greek origin, but if you live actually in Greece, right? Because I haven't seen
there definitely are, but from what I know there isn't any well-known ones. There's one, who honestly I'm not even going to give them any airtime, but there's one who has been on high leaderboard before, but they're also kind of racist. So, not the best one to represent.
As well?
They live in Greece, yeah. Or as far as I know, I know they are Greek. But
message me in Discord. I want to see who it is in case I recognize the name.
Okay, I'm gonna have to find it on my mute list.
Okay. Well, while you find out, I'll get into the YouTube comments from last week. We got PP Steve coming in hot saying Miss Mystic is actually going to be running production for the Perch stream remotely. I'll just be setting up all the equipment on the ground and sending the footage her way. Okay. So still a lot of work though from PP Steve, but shout out to PP Steve, Miss Mystic.
What a great stream! Dude, genuinely,
I need to watch it back.
Oh, mate,
you know what happened?
Well,
you know what happened?
Oh, you were at the thingy, innit?
Yeah, but it's so I was in Orlando for the tournament, but the stream started around 10 p.m. But the thing is, my flight was early, 6 a.m. Departs early, because I'm going from LA to Orlando, so I'm losing 3 hours on top of the flight. That's already 5 hours. So it has to go that early, otherwise, I just don't get in until the next morning, right?
Yeah,
I just can't do that. So I just barely slept, and I could barely sleep on the plane. So I land, and I'm trying to get something to eat first, right? And I'm hitting up, Dijon, Adib, and stuff, people that I know there. I mean, Butters is there with his wife, but I didn't really want to.
You don't want to be the third wheel in it.
Yeah, Speedy wasn't landing until later. It seemed like Soph had plenty of stuff that she was going to do by herself, or not by herself, with her friends, and she had some family she was visiting too. So, anyways, I was just all right, Adib, Dijon, where are you going? And I was with Rambo Man as well, and I recommend like some steakhouse. I was like, there's not really a lot of places nearby the convention center. So this walkable 4.5 stars rating out of 5 seems decent. And everyone's like, I don't, no, this is too much. Like, I really want to spend like $20-$30 on like a steakhouse meal, stuff like that. Like, let's go somewhere else. A lot of other people don't want to go.
Okay.
Not too bad. I think it was like 30 to 50 was like the range, right?
Oh, okay.
Like the general price range, he said. And I'm like, well, okay, well, no one else suggested anything in the group chat, so I just said something. You tell me where to go then. Like, let's go to Olive Garden. I was like, I didn't fly to a different city just to eat at a chain restaurant, right? But literally everyone's going there. Paulie was like heading on over to. He actually drove to a steakhouse because no one told him we're going to Olive Garden. But he was like, oh, like yeah, I'll go to Olive Garden.
Peak.
So he just drove over. Yeah, so we're at Olive Garden, and first time I've ever been to Olive Garden. Have you been to Olive Garden?
Nah, I just like heard all the memes.
Oh, it's awful. It's straight trash. The breadsticks were good. I'll give it to him. I mean, it wasn't like the best breadstick I ever had in the world. It was just like probably like butter and salt on it. Like it wasn't like anything crazy. But the breadsticks were actually solid, right? I didn't have the salad. I got the soup. The soup was like pretty mediocre. Maybe I didn't get the right soup, but I heard the salad's pretty good. But I had breadsticks. I had soup, and I ordered some like shrimp linguine, and it was like awful. It didn't taste like anything. Right? I ate so much breadsticks at least that I pretty much didn't even touch my like entree. I just like took it to go.
Mate.
And these people were like, "Oh no, we gotta go to Olive Garden." And, like everyone's talking about like how like they're like, "You haven't been to Olive Garden?" I was like, I feel like this is the go-to place for like a high school date or something. When you're in high school, you have nowhere else you could go, or like you're in a small town, you just that's it, right?
Fancy.
It's like more fancy than a McDonald's, right? And like a Burger King, but because there's pasta, right, and breadsticks, but it's still like a chain Italian restaurant that's not good. And then everyone at the table was like, "Yeah, that's pretty much where I went for my first like high school date too." Whoever it was, I didn't date in high school, so I wouldn't know. But honestly, I probably wouldn't have gone to Olive Garden either. Anyway, yeah, it was not good. And then the bill came out to be like $25 or something. I was like, this wasn't that much cheaper than the freaking steakhouse. Like, what are we doing here?
Oh man.
Yeah, I took it to go. And the funny part is on the final day. So anyway, when I come home, eat all this breadsticks, right? I'm exhausted. I don't remember the last time I slept, right? And it's like 9:30ish, right? And I open up the purse stream and it's like about to start soon. I fall asleep. And I wake up. I wake up at like midnight or something, or 12:30 a.m. And it's still going on, obviously, right? The tournament's longer than 2 hours.
Yeah.
But it said like it'd be right back in 15 minutes. I was like, oh dude,
Mate.
there's no way I'll be awake 15 minutes later. Right? I just woke up for a little bit. I didn't get full sleep. I just passed out. I woke up next day, just looked at the challenge bracket. I was like, "Oh, cool! Ric Flair got one. You know, Jai got second.
Yeah, do you reckon? I was going to say, do you recognize the second place?
Of course. I mean, yeah. They love Jai versus Jai loves Latinas. Like, obviously, I can figure out who Jai is, right? The guy didn't really change his username by that much. I saw a picture of the guy. I was like, this is the kind of person I would have imagined would have Jai.
Wait, I didn't even see a picture. Wait, where was it?
I'll find a picture for you.
Yeah,
I mean,
send me.
Yeah, because I mean, he definitely looks young, right?
Yeah.
So I'm not like it's not like, but it's just like he has like kind of a I don't know, like a goofy look to him,
okay.
almost,
I just
a
found
little
this thing.
bit, right? Yeah. I don't. Where did you find it on?
I just found his account in it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
His like profile picture. Yeah.
Wait, what's his account called?
They love Jai. Unfortunately,
They love Jai.
Yeah. You know, I tagged the other one because he had another one as well, which was Jai loves Latinas.
Is it love with a U or something?
Yeah.
Oh, this is. They love Jai on Twitter. Oh no, I see it.
Yeah.
Where was the picture though? I swear there was.
I imagine it probably would have been on like one of the group, like. Yeah, it could have been on ESL as well, but
I don't remember. I could have sworn someone posted. There was like a group photo of like 4 of them. Maybe it was Rocket Claire. I'm gonna do one last check because if I can find the photo for you all, you're gonna want to see it. It's pretty funny. Here we go. Yeah, it was Rocket Claire.
Send me. Claire. Oh, okay, I'll check her.
Here. Oh, no, I'll send it to you. Oh my gosh, I almost posted a whole like Discord, a whole different Discord. Anyway, I'll just throw it up right here. on the screen for
Okay, yeah. You know what? For some reason, it didn't like register to me that was him because I feel like I saw this picture.
I mean, out of the 4 people in this picture, who do you think is Jai loves Latinas, right? I know what Ric Flair and Rocket Claire looks like, and I don't know the last person, but
Yeah,
I mean,
the thing
also
is,
his medal is
you're
silver.
right,
Like this is the only silver medal. The
it's
third
true,
and
it's
fourth
true,
medal look like the same color, essentially. Yeah,
funny,
yeah,
funny.
yeah. Anyway,
Yeah, anyway,
well done, Jai. Well done.
yeah. Well, you know, honestly, yeah, like outside of like names and stuff like that. So, I only caught the tail end of the stream because I was sleeping, which is fair. And so they didn't do the face cams, and honestly I think that's fine, just for obviously you know, they can move on to face cams next season. But I think it was a good start in terms of like getting the main things sorted first, right? And in terms of getting all the, you know, footage from the phones, it was perfect. So seamless. I think they were using the same like scenes and stuff that Polly gave us for the Asian ones as well. So like the green one. So yeah, it looked really clean, really clear, really easy to follow. Obviously Rise and Fishy Legs were also cast in as well, and that was quite entertaining. But yeah, man, like Rick was actually on the way to a potential 100% tournament until the grand finals, where he wins the first game and then he loses 5 games in a row, which is wild.
Oh yeah. I remember him posting about that. So he gets so he goes up 1-0, goes 0-3, then loses the next 2 and has to reverse sweep the grand finals reset. That's crazy. Jai, what happened? You fumbled at the finish line.
Yeah, it's really peak.
No, but that's kind of wild
so
though.
close.
That's yeah. Like Ric Flair just woke up like 30 minutes later. He was just taking.
It's like, yo, where am I?
Because 5 battles is a while. Like the man is like, you know, and they had to like send the paddle and you know, decide lines. Like he's literally sitting in that seat for probably 40 plus minutes, just straight losing game after game after game. And then he was like, you know, I should probably start winning some. And he won 3 in a row. That's crazy.
And you know what? I think another thing that's kind of jokes is, so you know, I was saying like Jai seems to like A9 and brings it on every single one of his teams.
But yeah,
and Latinas, yeah. A9 and Latinas.
Was it Charm A9?
And yeah, it was Charm A9. And the thing is, honestly, it was like,
I mean, the thing is, if you get it on anything but the Skarmory, you could just muscle through.
Yeah. I mean, I think in that game, it was like
the thing
acceptable.
Is, Jai doesn't even have a like a lantern.
Yeah, I know, this is the thing.
Like how I don't know. I gotta look back at the games, but like how did Ric Flair struggle that hard on getting the Skarmory on it?
No. So the A9, I was thinking more in like previous battles, isn't it? It was more like until the final, it seemed like he was bringing it in certain games where it's like maybe it wasn't the best option. Do you know what I mean? And I can see how. So basically, there was 27 players, and I would say that contrary to previous Perth regionals where there haven't been that many players, this time, although there was like hardly any players, a lot of them were really good. You had, you know, obviously the top 4. So, you know, Rick Flareon, Jai, Rocket Claire, and the 4th one I didn't actually personally recognize, or actually Z-Tarb? I kind of recognize Z-Tarb, yeah, because they started playing in the APC, but they're Division 2, so I don't know, like, you know, I don't know of their like skill level or anything. I'm not familiar with them.
They only played in Perth last year, and they got 13th.
Yeah, so you know, not too familiar with them, but obviously then you've got like Avrit, Mikey Morgs, Flames Fan.
Yeah, they only I also didn't 2 last year too, so quite the improvement.
Yeah, exactly. And then you also had, so let me just quickly whoops. So
some of these badges on Dracovis are a little misleading, though. I mean, it's not really your fault and stuff, but maybe I don't know how to like remedy it. But I'm just looking
saying
at
top 8 at a regional when it's a small regional.
Yeah, it says top 16 at a regional, which It technically is,
Yeah.
but like also like a 1-2 equating
Yeah.
to a badge there is like I don't know. I don't know how you account for it, right? Because it's smaller regional, but
Yeah. Honestly, I think there's nothing you can do that doesn't
yeah,
make
I
it
mean,
like
the
really
badges don't actually mean
actively.
anything, but
Yeah, yeah,
it's just
yeah,
an interesting thing I
yeah.
noticed. It's not
But
Ztar's fault, anyways. It's no one's
yeah,
fault
yeah,
really. It's
yeah.
just like the
I
measurements.
know what you
I
mean.
don't
Yeah,
know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so in terms of other players you had there, you had like Fish on a Heater, Gon, Lalu Loha, who's like a decent player who moved from Vietnam. Shin Lena, yeah, who I know caused your team troubles this this week, bruv, because maybe we'll discuss
We
that a
don't
bit later.
discuss that, but the dispute did
um,
not go in their favor. Let's just put it that way.
fake Caleb Peng. We have Caleb A13.
How
Rob
did Caleb do?
Drogo.
Was Caleb
Um,
running Bastion or no? Because
I don't know.
that's what I really need
Yeah.
to know. Right? They try to steal
They
my
went one,
identity and
two.
my
Yeah.
stress, or just the name.
Rob Drogo, El Calvissimo, who I believe is he one of like SoCal Swablues or NEB or
No,
something like that?
NEB. He lives in
NEB.
New England. He lives in the Northeast, so
Yeah, so
he traveled for that
he
one.
flew. Yeah, he flew.
Yeah, he flew.
Um, so yeah, and yeah, Shin Lena coming from Malaysia as well. I was like, oh, that's kind of wild. So
Mikey
like,
Morgs also, right? And Mikey Morgs qualified for Worlds last year too.
yeah, I thought I mentioned. He
Oh,
just
sorry, I
qualified
might
from that
miss that.
tournament
Yeah.
as well. But yeah, so like 27 players, yeah, but I would say like at least a third of those players would be like contenders for being in the top four,
Mm-hmm.
maybe even winning it. So and I couldn't really say that for previous Perth tournaments. So I think it was really good. But yeah, stream was amazing. Yeah, Jai bringing A9 in some matches where I feel like maybe you don't really need to bring it. But I think that was something he sort of corrected in the grand finals, where he was only bringing it when necessary in it. But
Mm-hmm.
Rick Flareon, man,
Wait, who
what?
took out Jai? Oh, it was Ric Flair that took him out the first time around.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, they battled what 15 times or something wild like that, or a lot of
15.
times. Okay, a lot. More than
No,
10,
it would
more
have
than
been 12, right?
12 times.
Yeah.
So four.
Oh wait, it wasn't even Rick Flareon who took out Jai. Yeah,
Yeah,
it
it
was. Oh
was
yeah,
in
yeah.
the
It was in
winners
the
finals.
winners finals. Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
50. Oh no, but it was a 3-0. So
Oh,
yeah,
so
13. 13
12
matches.
times.
13.
What do you mean? I thought they only played 4 games in the first grand finals. He went up 1 and he got
Oh
lost
yeah,
3, right?
yeah, yeah,
Anicor,
yeah.
this is some basic math, man. You shouldn't even need a calculator for this one.
Do I need
It's
to explain it already?
3 plus 4 plus 5.
Yeah. Anyway, glad we got over that. Yeah, maybe we can do the maths on how many points your team scored this week.
Look,
Pretty sure I can add those up.
it was not a great week, right? Let's just put it that way. I was getting cheesed, right? Okay, my opponent was running. When
Let's
look, I'm
preface
not.
this story
No,
by
no.
telling everyone your score first.
It was 5 to whatever, right? We didn't score. We scored
No,
5. So
your score.
yeah, we scored 5 points.
Your personal score.
Oh, my sports score. Oh, I went 0-3. Yeah.
Okay.
It's fine. It's the first time I got swept in like years, so I'll take it. It's fine. Yeah, the last time I went 0-3 was over a year ago actually. It was April 2nd
What,
or
elite?
something. No. In
Anything,
team
yeah.
format, yeah. The elite thing's different, man. Dude, you try running elite's team comp into mine. I've tried that against other players, and it's just nearly impossible, right? I just didn't have a low insane size counters at all.
Anyway.
Especially with the rest of his team comp. I actually tried it because I was just like, how much of this was a skill difference versus a team comp difference? But anyway, no, the last time I got swept in like a team format was actually over a year ago. But yeah, so yeah, I went 0-3. Okay, so my opponent was running the weirdest move sets, and they play great too, right? So it's not that, but the thing is, the more I played it, the more I'm like, they need to open team sheets for team formats too at this point, I think. Because you
think
could just
so?
cheese your opponent. Yeah, they ran a glaring wheezing, and I had a like a Nihilate and a Dragalge, right?
Oh.
And so if you were to, and then I had a Jelson and some other stuff. If you were to look at that as just those three as a team, right? The rest were like pretty standard meta stuff, like a Licky Licky, a Drapion, and I don't remember the last thing. But
I'd say like brutal swing, play rough.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too, right? They ran overheat brutal swing, especially into a Dragalge. Like, what do you do into the Dragalge? That's so weird. You just throw brutal swing.
But what was the overheat for?
I don't know, but to cheese me, I guess, right? Because I got cheesed, right? That did a lot of damage to my Drapion, but also like it changed because I was just like I wouldn't have stayed Dragalge into it because I would have assumed they would just play rough, right? I mean, there's a lot of things like my strategy just made it just made no sense for like the strategy I planned, right? And again, another game I saw Annihilate in the first game. It was only throwing Shadow Ball. And then so I'm thinking, all right, it's probably Shadow Ball, maybe Ice Punch for the Dragalge, or probably Night Slash for the mirror matchup, makes it easier, and the Jelsons.
Was it close combat?
And you tell me, right? I got like I had my Drapion on it, right? And I was like, well, like Shadow Ball is going to do a decent amount of damage, but its resist is still Night Slash not going to do much, and Ice Punch won't do too much. And the guy's literally farming a ton of energy. I was just thinking, man, I literally said it right out loud. I was like, and mind you, I was battling at 5:30 in the morning, right before my flight. Excited for my flight right after, but I was just, which is fine. It's not an excuse, right? Because I was the one that requested the time, and they're being very accommodating with my request. But I was like, I mean, I guess I don't shield, and I just straight up lose if they run close combat Shadow Ball for whatever reason. 2 seconds later, freaking close combat, right? I lose with a shield. That was just because I had to save my shield for Dragalge.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Damn.
What is going on? But yeah, I mean, they played well too, right? I'm not trying to make excuse on it, but I think the more I played, I was just like frustrated. So I was just like, dude, this would never happen to open team sheets. Like you will see it coming, right? And you can strategize better.
Yeah.
And I think personally, that's why I've been doing pretty well in the official tournament formats.
Just because you got a better idea of like what's coming.
Yeah, you could plan for everything, right? I mean, I did fine when it was closed team sheets as well. Like I think I did pretty solid, all things considered.
Yeah.
But I would definitely play better on day 2 than day 1 because day 1's just like you don't know what's going on. But no, but we got destroyed though. We got stopped. So it wasn't even just me. I mean, across the board, their team played well. But yeah, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, it's Swiss for the Battle Frontier. Anyways, Battle Frontier team format. Let's get back to the Perth regional.
Yeah.
But I mean, we can talk more about it later in the segment too. But since we're on it, so it was a good production. You were saying?
Yeah. Honestly, like for the first production and also for just for what they tried to do. I think it was a good call to not do face cams if they weren't ready to do face cams yet.
It's probably just a lot for like Miss Mystic to manage as well.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is the expectation is like you would eventually do face cams, and I can't imagine it's like that much more.
I mean, I think yes, but also like ideally the producers on site too, because that makes it a lot easier, right? Having a remote producer on top of it. Not to say Miss Mystic doesn't have the capabilities to pull it off, but it's just way harder to set all that up, right?
But I feel like what's the difference between? I feel like there's no difference, right? Because it's like here they were sending over the feeds from the phones, and if they had face cams, they would send over the feeds from the face cams. Do you know what I mean? So I feel like there wouldn't really be that much.
No, but the thing is, in person, when you have a feed there, it directly links to the computer and the hardware, right?
Yeah.
How would you do multiple webcams like that, right?
Well, I mean, you're already feeding 2 sources, which is the 2 different phones. And also you could argue you could potentially
use like vMix or something. I don't
know.
Like,
but there's obviously whatever way they were sending the phones.
I don't know. I'm not a big producer or anything, so I shouldn't even be saying this because I don't know. Maybe it is easy.
But yeah, I think it was a good choice for them to not do face cams if they weren't ready for it, because I think it didn't detract from anything. And there was a lot of people tuned in. Obviously, it was like
what was the viewership like?
There was like a few hundred, which was nice. A lot of people recognizable in the chat. A lot of like Europeans waking up early and catching like the finals and stuff like that. So a lot of Americans on there as well, which was surprising because I feel like it would have been really late. But
Yeah. It
I
wasn't
guess
too
some
bad,
people like to
actually.
live
It
at
really
night.
wasn't too bad because
Yeah.
East Coast is probably as late as it gets for the US. It is
Yeah.
as late as it gets. And it started at 10. And the stream
Yeah.
probably wrapped up
But
at
as in
like
like
1 or
towards the
2.
final, I was like, because it was like a
1 or
5-hour
2.
stream.
I mean,
Yeah, true.
it depends on
Yeah.
how early you go to sleep, I guess. But
Yeah, true.
I just was too tired. Like
Yeah.
any other day, I would have been able to do it. No problem.
But yeah, I thought it was great, and I think it's a good start, especially because I feel like Melbourne was really like that was really the event to be like, you had like, decent numbers for an Australian regional. I feel like if they had the opportunity to start then, it would have been great. But
Yeah, but
this
starting a
is
smaller one's
nice.
probably not a bad idea either, right?
Yeah, it's like nice as a sort of like, a slow step up sort of thing in it. So it just, I guess it just tells me that, come next season, obviously they've got the approval now, which is great. But then also, they'll already have an idea of what improvements that can be made and, how to go
Right.
about it. So it should be quite exciting.
Yeah, I think so too. Well, anyway, congratulations to not only Rick Flareon and the top 4, but also for production stuff for running a great show. I'm glad it went well for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, I should probably watch it back. I literally didn't process a single second of the actual stream, so I literally have no idea how the production was. Yeah, but I haven't heard anything bad about it, so it's good to hear. Michael St. James says, "Great cast, guys. Is there anywhere where you can find a list of all the players who have qualified for Worlds from all the regions?"
Right.
So actually responded with, "Dracovic has done this in past seasons, but CEO Anicor has been sleeping on the job.
Yeah.
Though to be fair, it's hard to do this season because of championship point qualifications and also play Pokemon leaderboard names not matching up with Go IG in-game
So
names."
ish. I mean, honestly, it's like it's half sleeping on the job and half like being ill. So last week I was ill, right?
Either way, you're not
why
working. You're not doing the job.
yeah, but no, but look, last week I was ill, and then as I recovered from my illness, I then got these like tooth issues, and it's been oh my god.
I think you should take a leave of absence, appoint someone else CEO while you're recovering.
Nah, there's already
Mr.
people gunning for
CEO.
my job, bro.
Yeah, I know.
There's already people going in for my job. So
See. This is how a lot of people feel about a lot of American politicians in the U.S., where they're so old and they seem so incompetent, but they won't give up their seat for a younger prospect, even though they're like well into like past retirement age, like 70s, 80s, like they're just gonna die on the job, but they just won't give it up.
Yeah. Now, you know what? To be honest, though, like this week I've picked up a bit, but then also, I'm actually going to recruit someone to help me with some of the website stuff. So, I'm very aware that, like,
Who you
although the
recruiting?
last couple weeks, huh?
Who you recruiting?
I don't know yet. So, I mean, if anyone wants to
you haven't recruited
volunteer,
yet.
email me, huh?
Oh, you haven't recruited yet. You made it seem like you already
No,
got someone
no.
ready. Oh, okay.
No. Yeah. But like, although the last 2 weeks it was like kind of busy with like UIC and stuff, I still think that like, because I'm doing a majority of the website stuff, or like, yeah, majority of the website stuff, and
the
I realized,
UIC stuff is still not up.
what do you mean? Oh yeah, that's still not my thingy, and that was brought up yesterday, and it's hopefully going to be fixed within the next day or two, and before Sao Paulo this weekend. But that's
Before
not
Sao
my
Paulo,
department.
yeah. Hopefully Orlando's up too.
Yeah. That's not my department though, in it. But like,
Yeah.
I can only
I'm just curious. Is it like a lot of work, or is it just like to do that specific portion, or no?
I can't say exactly. I mean, I think not necessarily, but it's more like there's someone's developing something to make it automatic, and it's just been like a bit slow. So
yeah. It's not automatic yet, is what I'm hearing.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
I'm also hearing that you never passed on some of this feedback that I've given you.
Oh, what about what?
A couple of things. The grand final. The loser
Wait,
final,
where?
winner final.
Oh, right, putting the S. Yeah, I
No
just forgot,
S.
honestly. Yeah.
The Twitter bird.
Yeah, the
Something
Twitter bird.
else.
Yeah, the Twitter bird. I see it every time, and I'm just like, oh, I can't be bothered.
Something else I noticed too, actually, while giving this feedback, because
Oh yeah.
you didn't give it, so I had to give it to some of your cohort.
Uh-huh.
On the top of the banner, if you look at the Orlando regional one, it says 2024 World Championship Series.
Okay.
Why is it called World Championship Series? No one calls it that. It's just the Championship Series. It's a Pokemon Go
WCS World
Championship.
Championship Series.
Who calls it WCS?
I'm pretty sure it is called.
For like the actual Worlds, yeah. But this is 2024, like Orlando regional. What does that do with World Championship Series?
Maybe you got a point there.
Yeah, maybe my guess is like it was maybe thrown up for like Worlds last year and then just never got taken down from the template.
I think we've done this for
a while, probably.
Yeah, even last
and I don't know why. And the funny part is, right underneath that, there's a Pokemon Go Championship Series logo, and it literally says just Pokemon Go Championship Series. Yeah.
Whoops. Yeah. Okay, yeah, that's
And then of course the Twitter bird. Wait,
that's just a mistake. Yeah, the Twitter bird I keep
just
seeing, and I'm just like,
just
I can't
needs to
be
go,
bothered.
man. Like I don't care. I don't like the X thing either. But like, it is what it is, right?
Yeah, it's true.
You don't like Elon, you're using his platform. Like, what you want me to do? Boycott the whole platform then at that point.
Yeah, do you know what? So I think I'm checking like okay, I guess I didn't put the graphics on last year's ones.
Look,
yeah, I guess
anyway, to answer Michael St. James, the best way you could probably find that, but again, the championship points does make it a little bit cumbersome, is just go to like the official Pokemon website and look at like championship points and sort by Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
And then just look at the numbers from there.
However,
slash the already qualified people from winning winning a tournament. Yeah. But it's like super unfortunately the best answer I have is there isn't any place.
So I will be getting onto that this week.
Look, and whatever Anicor says,
I've got
don't
a list. Just
fall for it, right? Wait till it's actually there, right? Until I actually see it and you see it yourself, there's nothing, right? That
Michael
there's
St.
no
James,
easy list to look at it.
Check the website now.
The best...
and it'll be
oh wow, you gonna have this website thing done and be in the next 24 hours? Because this we're recording
is
on
that
Tuesday.
when you're uploading it? Okay, Michael St. James, check it tomorrow.
Tomorrow.
It'll be up.
Thursday, maybe.
Check it tomorrow and it'll be up.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, because I've got like all the thing is I've got all the data, including like the name conversions and stuff like that, and it's just a case of me like catching up on backlog.
Michael St. James, a favor to ask of you.
Michael St. James, I swear.
When you check on Thursday and it's not on the Driftless website anywhere, or you can't find it, you come and comment on this episode, please. Right? I know I'm asking a lot, but please, just so you can call out Anicor for his shenanigans yet again, right? This Coriander ain't falling through on nothing, right?
look,
the most
today,
I see this guy do productivity is change his middle name to Goku. Even that's arguably not that productive, right?
Look, today
wait till you find out the reason why he did it, and then you'll be like, okay, I can see, I can sense the urgency now.
Yeah. No, I've been catching up in it since I've like stopped being ill. So I did the Asia.
Speaking of things that he hasn't followed through on, there's no face paint on him.
Yeah, there's no face paint. I'm 2 weeks in debt. I was ill.
2 weeks in debt. No, but anyway, at this all of saying, so he owes us 2 weeks for sure. But every week is continuing to grow. So like, look, let me just promise you all, right? He gonna be doing the full cloud makeup for like 8 weeks straight at this point, right? At what point are you gonna wake up and start putting the cloud makeup for every week's episode and be like, man, I'm getting tired of doing this? You might as well join the circus as a side hustle if you had to make him on.
Unfortunately, GBL doesn't stop when you're ill, so
it does not.
What can I do? It
does not. Okay, anyway, so I guess apparently Thursday, but we'll see. Crocodile says in he's Anicor : I think Ginger Ninja was the only ginger person there. And then Crocodile says, forgets he was dressed up as Misty. But there was the other guy too, right? That I sent you. What was his name? The
Yeah,
Gengar
so
Life?
Gengar Life. Yeah. I
Yeah, so
forgot he was
I didn't
ginger,
know
to be
his.
honest.
What do you mean?
I guess because he always wears a
He
cap
was
and
at.
like I don't notice people's beards.
No, I could have sworn he wasn't wearing a hat at UIC. He was at UIC, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he was wearing a hat.
Yeah.
He always wears a hat.
I don't know the guy very well, but I remember when I saw him, I was like, I didn't get him confused with the Ginger Ninja because I could have sworn I met the Ginger Ninja at a previous tournament before, but like if you're just looking for one person that's ginger, then you would probably just guess that. Yeah.
Also, a very, very quick aside.
Yeah.
Ginger Ninja was actually the name of one of my favorite Miniclip games from back in the day.
One of your favorite what games?
You know Miniclip?
I don't know what Miniclip is. What's Miniclip?
You don't know what Miniclip is? It was like a game website when like, you know, when you first got access to internet and everyone was just like, yo, what do we do with this? Yeah, Miniclip was like the go-to if you were a kid.
I didn't use Miniclip.
No.
I played.
It was like the equivalent of like Newgrounds or something like that for games.
I've been on Newgrounds before.
Yeah.
Newgrounds has some wild stuff on there though.
Yeah, I know.
Yo, you see,
there's a Wild West back in those days, isn't it?
I mean, the games were. It was weird. There was some weird. There was some. Yeah. Anyway,
those people are now running our companies.
Yeah. Like Dracovis. T-Wasel says Anicor's Missy was amazing. Shake my head. Caleb always pushing that anti-breakpoint propaganda. Sometimes breakpoints are copium, but oftentimes they're legit. Caleb, why are you such a hater? Yo, speaking of this, because we had a fellow podcast listener respond.
Yeah, I saw that. Yeah.
Did you see the follow-up comments to that?
Oh yeah, some people thought it was serious. Yeah.
Well, it wasn't even that. Some people thought I was like referencing like Ryan Swag or someone else.
Oh right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And someone else quote to it. It's like, is this about me? It was what's his name? Shoot, it was Nino.
Right.
He's like, are you talking about me? With the thinking face. I don't think he was like actually offended. Ryan Swag definitely felt like offended about it, but someone clarified with him that it was not about him. Yeah, but the original tweet, it was. I was like, it's got to be a fellow podcast listener.
Yeah, as soon as he mentioned Charger Bug, I was like, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I see the Charger Bug haters out
Fresh
there.
Ocean said, but what about IVs? Hunting IVs are way more important than scrimming and mastering your team and move timing, etc. If I hunt random Charger Bug IVs, it'll lead to a win. Some people thought that was serious, but like, hey man, they just not listen to the podcast to get the joke, right? But it was a tweet where I said like, look, I hear people complain about RPS and RNG every so often.
Yeah,
to explain why they.
I'm not. You know what? I'm not gonna lie as well. Like, there was it was a Mind joke, and I also remember him like because he made a post about this, how like he's not doing well this season, and he was doing better last season, and I think someone else kind of co-signed that, being like, yeah, I felt the same, you know, I wasn't doing as well this season compared to last season. And you know, he posted obviously underneath your thing and he was like, you know, no, I don't agree, but bro, I still feel like as you know,
no, he said he does agree.
He was sort of on the fence with his response. He was like, oh, I kind of feel like I don't agree, but then at the same time maybe it is a, you know, just like a
he likes
thing
that
with me
adaptation.
As well. Yeah. And honestly, I feel like, you know, your point is very true, because it's like, you know, you can be a really top player like a Mind joke, yeah, and you know, if he's not doing too well this particular season, perhaps he's not identifying other parts of his game that he needs to address, and maybe it's a mental thing as well, you know, because I don't think he can I don't think he can very honestly say, yeah, it's not a, you know, skill difference, because you should be able to master any meta, you know.
Well, let me catch up people that maybe didn't read my original tweet or don't know what we're referencing. But what I said is, I hear people complain about RPS and RNG every so often to explain why they lost in a Go tournament. Doombug and many other players who consistently perform well are a testament that with a well-built team, good gameplay, and a strong understanding of the game, and the game. Oh, I just realized I have a typo. are the true determining factors for success. As a congrats on the triple Doom bot. But that was after obviously Doombug won a third tournament this season. Yeah, I mean, I think like, okay, I'll put it this way: if we're ever in a meta that's super duper RPS and like even the best players can't play around it, then there wouldn't be consistency in performances either.
I agree. Yeah.
Right. But the fact that Doombug's able to win 3 tournaments and all 3 were post Scalds. Right? Like this wasn't like he won something in the Gligar Metacham Lickitung meta, right? In the first 3 months of the season from January to December. He won them from December till now, right? And honestly, this recent month compared to last GBL season update is like not that different than meta in my opinion. There's just a little bit more
people are playing different things, isn't it?
People playing different things, and people realize Gligar's busted, so they're running like Skarmory, right? Because they realize that Skarmory is like the only reliable check in the meta that's actually decent in other matchups, right? But but like they're just making adjustments to the player reactions rather than like Fraugen and Glade are not like that relevant, right? Gudra's hot garbage. It's not doing anything. Like I don't care what you say, Gudra's terrible, right?
Praying for the combo.
Yeah. We got more top cuts with Pidgeot than Gudra, right? So that's how you know it's
hey,
bad.
actually, that might not be true, you know. Pretty sure someone ran a Gudra like.
Well, we have more tournament wins and success with the Shadow Pidgeot, right, than a Gudra. But so that was a tweet, and I think like I said this too before even the update dropped. I'm pretty sure that the September to December GBL update, right, where Gligar became meta relevant, Medicham was still busted, Lickitung, whatever, right? I wouldn't say busted, but still super meta, and like everyone's running Medicham. That meta was, in my opinion, a really good meta. Yeah. Right? It might be boring. It might have a lot of Medicham everywhere, right? But that's just like people don't play video games or something. Like that's how video games are, right? Any good video game, there's a meta, and the more common stuff is what's going to be used. Unless you have something, a part of the video game that prevents you from using meta picks, right? Like the diversifier, or you can only use meta once in a while, or something like that. If you have unlimited access to whatever you can use, people are going to gravitate towards the meta. That's just how it is, right? Obviously, Medicham was maybe too strong, and it was always on every team, but it made the gameplay not RPS at all, in my opinion. It was super balanced, right?
I agree. Yeah.
Like Medicham, I mean, Gligar had to shield Medicham even if you're locking the Medicham in because it's bulky enough to get off 2 ice punches. So like there was a lot of play. This meta is not as it is more RPS, which is the only reason why Bastion's good, right? Like I'm not even using it just because I'm just like doing it for brand's sake. Like it's actually good. In the last like September to December meta, Bastion was trash. I thought it was over for Bastion. I even tweeted about it. I was like, it's time to retire, right? This Bastion. Like I wasn't even running in my local tournaments Bastion. I didn't play any regionals that rotation, but I wouldn't have brought it for sure. But that being said, you got players like Doombug that got 3 regional wins and a second place at EYC. So it is more RNG and RPS than the last meta, but it's not that big of a factor in my opinion, right? Because if it was, then Doombug's gotta be the luckiest person in the freaking multiverse, right?
Yeah.
But not even that. There's like people like Lao Jeffs, right? 2 tournaments in this 4-month, 5-month span of this meta as well, the Scald meta, right?
You also see like a lot of people repeat top cutting. Even like
me.
Part of
yeah. 2 out of 2 times. I got second and then a top cut at EYC, right? Not as far, but I mean,
and also to be honest, even if you separate NA and EU. Even in EU, it's like you've got a lot of the same people top cutting. Stone Collection top cut multiple times. People like Tomahawk, Stan, Colin 6. Yeah, so it's like it's not necessarily even. You know what? Even people on the same team as a Mind Joke. I feel like Paula, she's top cut a few times in this meta. So I mean, a Mind Joke definitely a strong player, but I feel like if he feels like there's an issue this season, I don't think it's a meta thing, and I think it's maybe
Let me see what he's running.
Something else.
Because I will say Alolan Sandslash is not that good in this meta. So if he's running a Alolan Sandslash every time,
But I mean, it won a UIC, and also won one Orlando as well. So
I mean, fair.
yeah.
I guess so. No, he actually didn't bring as much.
maybe that was the problem.
I don't know what he ran at UIC because the data's not Dragovich yet.
Yeah.
But
Well, I mean, if you go on the
UIC
UIC page,
one out
you
of
can
the three
search it.
tournaments.
Okay, let's see. So a mind. So
he ran kind of interesting.
He ran
so,
8 slash.
No, so this season, this is actually kind of funny how it works out. So this season, outside of when he got third at Gdansk, he's gotten 17th twice and 65th 3 times. He only has 2 other placement numbers. It's either 17th or 65th outside of third place.
Yeah, so at UIC, he actually did run A slash.
Well, how do you place at UIC?
He went 1-2. So
UIC is like tough competitions.
Yeah,
hard to say.
Actually, I think his first loss was against my brother running your team. So
yeah, actually, funny enough, he went 1-2 in Utrecht and Liverpool as well. Actually, so and then 2-2 at Stuttgart.
Yeah.
I
feel like there's probably something else to tackle in that sort of case, isn't it? And personally, I think it's a mental thing because, I mean, I don't know if it's mentality which stopped him from getting a win last season and constantly getting like really high top cut positions, but I can definitely feel like when he was on those kind of runs, and he would go a game down pretty late on in the run, then it would start to set in being like, oh no, not this again. Do you know what I mean? And I can only think that maybe it's still a factor this season. I'm not saying this because I like know for sure. I'm just like making assumptions, but for some players that can actually be a big factor. It can be the thing that stops them going all the way, where it's like they're so close that all of a sudden the pressure starts getting where if anyone gets this reference, the pressure is getting wassa. Yeah. And then
what is this like you sound, who you sound like? You sound like what's that monkey from Lion King?
What's his name? Rafiki. Yeah.
Did he say that? Wait, no, that sounds like some Disney like line. Maybe it's not. What is it?
But anyway, the
wait, where's that from? Where's that from?
Wassa. It's just some meme, innit? It's like some woman who's just like, the pressure is getting wassa.
Actually, honestly, that accent actually sounds like a lot of people from Wakanda as well. Not quite lie.
I mean, she's African. I don't
know. I don't know what the meme is from. So if the meme was an African meme, then that makes a lot of sense. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that might be also why.
But yeah, once you get closer and the pressure gets wassa, then
what are you saying? What's the word you're saying? I don't even know what you Wassa? What's that?
Worser.
Oh, worser. Okay.
But yeah, once the pressure gets like, quite a lot, you're
talking about water pressure this whole time. I'm so confused.
But yeah, you're nearly at the finish line and, you see that it's so close, but then as a result, you're putting a lot more pressure on yourself. I feel like that's the time where, if you drop one game, it can still be a best of 5, that pressure just gets a lot heavier on you, and you may be liable to make mistakes and stuff like that in the games to come. So I can't give any other examples of people who might suffer from that in terms of like when they're so close to getting a win and bottle it right at the end. But there are definitely some players who,
Jai maybe recently. One game away. He had 3 chances to win one game.
Messed up. Yeah.
Just charm A9, RPS him at that point, right? You gotta be able to force.
Honestly, at that point, you may as well just throw the A9 in and just see
yeah.
But I think there are definitely players where I've seen that they're definitely good players outside of the championship series, and I feel like when it comes to the championship series, they don't perform to the level that I would expect them to perform at. And
well,
honestly,
then what if they're just not as good as you think they are? I'm not talking about a mind joke. I'm just
saying No, I mean, no, that's possible.
I feel like there's a lot of people that seem good, but they're just they're like a big fish in a small pond, right?
Okay, what do you
And
think about Trent, for example?
Oh my gosh, look, no hate on Trent, but his performance has been pretty bad lately.
Exactly, but he's a
Like,
good player, right? And it's
I
like,
don't know. I've
do
never
you
played him. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, so the thing is, he's a good player, and obviously, he's proved it in the championship series as well. Because I think he had a third place finish previously as well. But
But
sometimes you need to
yeah,
like
but there's
ask.
that Peoria though. No hate on
Okay.
Peoria, but that was a pretty
Yeah.
small tournament.
Was it last year's Peoria or this year's Peoria?
Last year's Peoria.
Oh, okay, fair
How do you spell?
enough. But he's definitely top cut before, like
No, he
outside of Peoria as
has.
well.
He
Yeah.
has. And I wouldn't say he's a bad
And
player. I mean, I
yeah,
haven't faced him myself, but also like, yeah, he's at third place. I don't know. I feel like, well, he had 9th place in Pittsburgh.
yeah.
Something
But I feel like
happened
some of
because
his
he went
performances.
1-2 at Peoria.
Yeah.
He went 0-2 in Toronto, and he went 1-2 again in Orlando. He's almost
Which
about
is
to qualify
wild.
for Worlds, though.
Yeah.
But
what in terms of like locals and stuff?
yeah. I looked. I
Okay,
think
yeah.
he's in the 400s or something.
Okay. But yeah, I think like honestly, I feel like the mental part of the game, and you know what? Honestly, I feel like this is something that may get a lot more talk, maybe in 1 season's time or 2 seasons time or something like that, because it's a big part of competitive gaming is like the mental side, and
Yeah, I
maybe
think
it's
also
something.
like it's not even just the mental. It's just that you could be really good at the game at one point in your life and then not be as good currently, right?
Yeah, but do you think that?
I don't know. I haven't played.
Yeah,
I just again like this is not a knock on Trent. I just haven't played against him or seen him play
yeah.
anything recently, so I don't know. Like maybe he's
That's fair.
just
That's fair.
not in his prime for
Yeah,
PvP. Who
and
knows?
yeah, that's also valid because like
Right?
I
Okay,
also
okay.
don't
Let's
know
put
as
it this
well.
way,
I was
right?
just picking him
Dancing
as an
Rob,
example.
obviously indisputably a good player, right? When he showed up to Worlds at Yokohama, everyone knew that he probably wasn't
Yeah.
getting as much reps because he's judging, doing all this stuff. No one was shocked that he went 0-2,
Mhm.
right? But like that wasn't the Dancing Rob world champion. That was the Dancing Rob that was judging and helping out with
Yeah.
dream
And I
stuff.
think in that
So
sort of situation, you can like look at that and be like, yeah, he's not played all season.
yeah.
Not really a surprise, right? But I feel like, and I maybe I can't give any proper examples now off the top of my head in it, but I do feel like there are some players who, when they get to that, in-person regional, and I think specifically regional as well, because sometimes locals feels like a different environment, and so as a result some people can play a bit differently in locals
Yeah,
than
but
they would
Trent's
in
been to a
regional.
ton of tournaments though.
Yeah, and his
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14 tournaments after Orlando. In-person tournaments. Some of them ICs, even at LCQ as well.
yeah. But I mean, this is the thing, innit? Like, I think it doesn't necessarily matter how many tournaments
Mindro
you've been
too,
to
right? So
if you, yeah.
what's the thing that you're saying is
So
like
I'm saying that like there's the mental side that is also a very valid side that needs to be worked on when it comes to performing well in tournaments. Yeah,
I
obviously there's
mean,
like
I
gameplay,
100% agree.
there's
Yeah.
strategy, all that sort of stuff, but then there's mentality as well. And I think a
Oh,
lot of
dude,
people don't
Doombuck's
necessarily
easily
address
one of
it.
the most mentally strong players
He's
for
insane,
sure.
bruv. He's
Yeah.
so relaxed on that stage.
You can tell he doesn't tilt.
Yeah, not at all. And he's always just like, really locked in, really,
Yeah.
almost like just aware of the position his opponent is in as well. And then, knowing how to take advantage of that in it. But yeah, basically I feel like a lot of players who tend to underperform at live events, I feel like it's the mental side. Some people are lucky enough where they don't have to actively address the mental side because, for some reason they just are naturally in the flow when they come to events. But for some people, they do have to actively address it.
How would you categorize yourself?
Me,
'Cause you
I
can't
had
really
to
speak for
actively address
others.
it.
You do?
I had to
Okay.
actively address it. Yeah, I was fine in my first like couple live tournaments. Yeah, I was fine in my first like few live tournaments. In Australia, I found that it was actually a big issue. And is
Yeah, Valiant Fish really got you.
yeah,
tore you a couple new ones,
yeah.
back-to-back
But it was like
tournaments.
I really noticed it in Sydney because I felt like in Sydney I was on top of my game, and I feel like I could have won or at least been in the finals because obviously it was like Ric Flair on in it, so I felt like I could at least been in the finals based on my performance at that time. and all the prep I did for it and everything like that. And yet it was the mental side that completely failed me, you know? And actually, to be honest, I lost to Ric Flareon. I had a game plan when I went into his. First of all, I like second guessed my game plan initially while I was, chatting to someone online. And then I had a game plan for game 2 and I bottled it, about a minute into it, right? And these are all just like mental things in it, like second guessing yourself, second guessing your strategies,
It's like nerves,
that sort of
maybe?
stuff.
Because there wasn't even like a
Nerves,
stage. It was
pressure,
just
all that sort of
immersion.
stuff. Yeah. And from there I realized I was like, okay, this is definitely something that I have to address.
I don't get that personally. So like I'm trying to understand like I would love to help people that do struggle with that, right?
Yeah.
Because I feel like, but I don't know, like I don't have any like parting wisdom on like
Do you know what?
how to address it.
I think it's because it's different for everyone, because obviously they're the things when it comes to like anything mental related, right? The things that work for some people are not necessarily going to be the same things that work for others. However, one thing that was really interesting is something I discovered last year. They actually have what do you call it? Where I follow this guy on Twitter. His name is Dan Abrams. Sports psychology, right? So it's it's a big thing in like normal sports. And basically this guy, Dan Abrams, he was the reason I found out about him was because actually he was a sports psych who worked with a UK Dota team, I think 2 years ago. And they were a pretty average team apparently going into
Wait, say it
the
again.
TI.
The Dota team. Wait, what
Yeah,
Dota team
yeah, yeah.
again?
I can't remember which. Wait, let me search Dan Abrahams.
That's fine if you don't have this specifically. I was just curious.
It was Team Tundra.
Okay.
Yeah. And apparently they were like a sort of like, average-ish team in terms of like, obviously they're a good team, but they weren't like pegged to win the entire TI, right?
Yeah.
He was brought on, and from what he explains, he was like he mainly went through like the psychology side with all the players in terms of like making them feel comfortable when they're playing, but also making them feel like they don't have any external pressures, making their really working on their mentality, things like if you're dropping a game, to not be dwelling on that game and then going straight to the next one. I don't know, there's obviously this is a job in it and there's a lot of things, but yeah, I was surprised to hear that it's actually a part of sports. And then when I found out it is a part of sports, it made sense as well, right? Because if you think like, there are players who are feeling these kind of pressure in our little game that doesn't necessarily mean too much, yeah, then imagine, players on like Olympic stages or, like Champions League finals, things like that,
Yeah.
the kind of
But I
pressure
feel
they'd be
like
feeling as well.
that's also not maybe the best. Like, I feel like they're more similar than you would think because on an Olympic stage for an athlete that's been training for hours for
Yeah,
it
yeah.
could feel like a Pokemon Go stage, right? For
That's
some
true.
people,
That's true.
right?
Yeah,
Who
yeah,
dedicate. I mean,
yeah,
arguably, some of these people might scream even more than these Olympians
yeah,
train a day, right? Like some
yeah,
people put in a lot of effort and stuff like that.
yeah. I think the comparison was more like, obviously on those like huge stages, like the money and also the like
The accolades,
the pub. Yeah, is a lot higher. It's like
but isn't that
if
all
you mess up on
relative?
that, that is true. That is true. I
Right?
guess it
Because
is.
like
Yeah, yeah,
for a sport like that, like the money at a semi-pro level is still going to be higher than
yeah,
maybe something for Pokemon Go, right? I don't know.
yeah,
I
yeah,
feel like
yeah.
money and like accolades are all relative to like
That's true.
your
That's true.
experience,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah.
Because for some people, like this game is like maybe not
A
even
lot.
just
Yeah.
Pokemon Go, but it could be whatever game it is. It's like
Mhm.
their livelihood or all they work for, right? Or
Yeah, that's true.
uh I was actually listening to an interview. It was for a different game, but it was someone that's like he was like on the semi pro level
Uh-huh.
and he was stuck in the semi pro level for years. And he was grinding and trying to and then the guy the guy interviewing was asking him because this guy recently decided to just quit, right, and retire from the game, and he asked, like, how much were you like working an hour, right? He said 70 hours a week at least.
Wow.
And they're like, what? Like 70 hours? He's like, yeah, like 7 days a week. I play 10 hours of games a day, right? This video game he's playing.
Yeah.
Because he said, if I don't do it, like there's no one telling me to, but if I don't, someone else can take my spot, right? He's in the semi-pro level. He's going to go pro, but someone could easily take, because there's someone else below that level trying to go semi-pro, right? And there's a lot of people hungry for that position that he's in. So he feels like he's constantly like, one, I need to perform really well to have a chance to move up. But also, if I slack off, then someone else can replace me. And he just lived like this for years, right? And he's like, I just can't do it anymore. But for
I'm
him,
not gonna lie, man. Like 70 hours a week, and he's still not going pro. Yeah, I feel like he's.
Well, the problem is because in the pro spots, there's like 20 something, 30 something people. That's it, right?
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it's for league. Yeah, but like it's
okay.
but like they have like, I don't know how many teams they have, like maybe 7, 8 teams. So each team has 5 players. So let's say 8 teams, 40 players.
Wait,
40
in the
players
whole of League of Legends, there's only 8 teams
for North America.
Oh, okay.
It's still not a lot.
That still sounds kind of.
Well, it's not. Well, the problem is also because a good chunk of those players are not American. They import them from other countries like Korea and stuff, and China.
That sounds very small for like what kind of prize pool does League get?
What?
What kind of prize pool does League get?
It's probably in the millions. Actually, funny enough,
and there's only like 30 teams.
No, at the pro level.
But is it because they're not allowed to enter?
Because essentially, like to my understanding, the teams. I don't know how it's like for Dota and stuff because I haven't followed the Dota Pro League scene in a hot second, but I think so. In each region, they have like a pro scene, and so for North America, they have like the LCS, like the Korea, they have like LCK, whatever. But I think there's like 8 teams, I believe, per. I don't know. I may have the numbers wrong, but it's 8 or 10 at most. But I think it was 8, and each team has to buy into their spot. So, like Team Liquid or 100 Thieves or whatever, FlyQuest, they had to spend like over $1 million or $2 million a year to have a spot at the table. And they have a team of 5 players, right? Maybe a sub or 2. And they maintain that spot consistently unless they no longer want to pay out that fee or they get bought out, like the whole company gets bought out or something, right? And so from there, each season they could, if they have players, because the thing is, like, if you have 5 players, they're not going to every year to someone retiring. So you might wait around for years and no one's retiring, right? Obviously, combined with like 8 teams and 40 something people, there's going to be 1 or 2 people moving maybe at least a year, right? Maybe more than that. But from there, they might not even pick up someone from the semi-pro league because they're just going to import someone from a different country or a different region.
Yeah, that's mad,
So realistically, how many people are they picking up from the semi-pro league? It could be from 0 to like 2, maybe a year. And the semi-pro league has 40 plus players too, right? So and the thing is also there's 5 positions. So if the person that they're looking for is not even in your position, you're out of luck, right? There's a 20% chance they're even looking for someone in your position, and then you got a bunch of other people you're competing with, right? And on top of that, I don't know. I listening to it, I was like, dang, this is a stressful industry, right?
Unfortunate,
yeah.
But yeah, so for anyone with mentality or, who wants to look into like, mentality related stuff, I would suggest follow Dan Abrahams on Twitter. So it's at Sports Psych Show. And he does a podcast as well. And like, maybe there's something on there that will resonate with you. Maybe not.
I think part of it also has to do with your own personal, like, personality, I guess, and how you handle stuff. Because, for example, I don't know how you are, but for me, I'm like a super low stress person, but like to the point where it's actually detrimental. Like I'm the kind of person, like in school, I was not great at school. I went to like high ranking schools actually, but like I wasn't very good at it because I would just wait till last minute. Cause like in my mind, I could just put things off. And then all of a sudden it's the night before I'm like working on it, like day of, right? It's like the clock hits midnight. I'm like, I should probably start this project that's due in like a couple hours, right? And like that catches up to you in college and grad school, right? But I still did it even in grad school. I remember I wrote my master's capstone project. It was like 50 plus page research paper in like 3 really long nights because we had to hand them in by section, so a third at a time. So so obviously if it was all at once, I would have been even more screwed. But I was like
Yeah,
typing
that's
until
mad.
the sun was rising all the time, right? But that's just like the kind of person I am, which is not
Yeah,
good, and in some situations is good, right? I think like that's why generally I think if I'm playing on stage or playing in person, I like usually like the nerves don't hit me. But that's just like how I am as a person. I don't know how that like I could impart that on other people, right, to help out.
yeah.
Because I feel
The
like
thing
okay,
is, I
so
think,
so for you,
yeah.
you're probably not as stress free as me, right?
Do you know
If
what
I
the
were to
thing is?
guess.
I'm actually like a super like um low stress person as well. But
Really?
the difference being is that I think when it comes to this game, right, is there's a lot of things in life, yeah, where I'm just like naturally good at.
Yeah.
And so as a result, I'm just like, okay, it's cool in it. Yeah? And even like when I started this game, I was just like naturally decent. So I was like, okay, it's fine.
Yeah.
But now I'm like, oh, but okay, I'm naturally good to a certain degree. But if I want to be like really, really good, then I actually have to put in work.
Yeah.
And then so as
It's
a
like the
result,
closer
it's
you
like,
get, the more you realize how much work it takes, right?
yeah. And then the more work you put in, then it's just like, okay, now I've got almost like this means a lot more, you know? That's at least how it would sort of hit me, you know. But again, it's something that I've like been working on, so it's like less of an issue than it was last year. But I'd say that would be the perspective where it's like, okay, but I'm putting in a lot of work in this. You know, I've traveled to the place, so
Mm-hmm.
it feels like there's a lot more. Um, the pressure that I'm putting on myself is that there's a lot more on the line. You know,
Yeah.
when I'm usually not. To be honest, actually, I have been a person to put like pressure on myself in the past, but I've always also been someone who like can always like do it as well.
Yeah.
But then yeah, when it comes to this, I'm like, well, you know, can I really perform at that high level
Mm-hmm.
without putting any effort into it? Probably not. So now there's like a thing, I have to put
Yeah.
in the effort, and then it's like, yeah.
Hmm. I don't know. It's a very interesting topic. I will say
Yeah.
that.
I think it will be something that will be again probably discussed a bit more over the coming years, because I think if you look at the championship series, right, there's a lot of things which maybe are things we discuss now that weren't really a factor right at the beginning. So as the circuit evolves, I think people start to like have these sorts of competitions. I think the competition also levels out a bit more, and then it becomes like smaller factors which differentiate the players as well. um
I don't know. I feel
but
like the differentiating factors are widening right now.
You think so? Oh well, Doombug's a bit of a he's a bit
Well, even Lyle is a great
he's a bit of
example, right?
a
We don't
yeah.
have like we're having like multiple repeat champions. Jakobovic is a
Yeah,
great example too, right? I know Australia
yeah,
doesn't have the highest population, but
yeah.
still, like
But you know what the thing is? I think before we, obviously this season is like a good indicator, but I think before we make that statement, we need to wait to Worlds,
oh no,
because we need.
not even
I
no
think
not even wait till Worlds. Like less than 3 years of data is still not that much. Even like after Worlds, I
yeah,
still
yeah, yeah,
wouldn't be comfortable making a statement like that until like 4 or 5 years down the line.
fair enough. But I think like Worlds is more in terms of like a lot of the repeat regionals, right? I think we still need. So Doombug's currently, I feel like the only person who's kind of like transcended the region thing, because obviously his performance at UIC. But I feel like we need to see, Harjeff in an international situation. We need to see Lyle Jeffs in an international situation. We need to see Jakobovic in an international situation, and we need to see how they fare in that sort of like environment, innit? And I think if you know
Yeah,
what, if they prove themselves in that environment, then you can be like, you know what, that plus this season, wow, yeah. Dunebug's done it a bit early because of UIC, in my opinion.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
I think that's dude. Dubog's not like this is not like news to me at least, right? I know it
yeah,
might be news to some people, but he's been good at this game for a while, right? Like he was
yeah.
the first person, I think maybe the only person in the history of Sylph to be number one ranked in the Sylph leaderboard. It's only one person, right? And number 1 ranked in GBL at the same exact time, which is
mad.
crazy hard because he's grinding out a bunch of Show 6 tournaments in Sylph exclusive metas and also GBL again long queue times.
Yeah.
I think he was the first to legend, and he definitely
Apparently,
was
yeah,
first legend
first
one of the
legend.
seasons too. Oh, first ever
Silk.
legend. Yeah,
No,
he was
the
a
first season.
Yeah,
The first legend in
he
the
was
world.
the first
Yeah.
ever legend ever because there
Yeah.
was no other. Yeah, it was before legend was even a thing. It used to be ranked 10, and yeah, he was a Sylph like grassroots champion too. Like the guy's always been good, right? He's just the thing is like the difference is he stayed on top of the game and like Doombug when he won Sylph Worlds and was the first legend world is not as good as Doombug now. But the problem is, I mean, not the problem. The difference is he kept up his game.
Yeah.
And he maintained that skill level, right? And again, not a knock on Dancing Rob because he's done so much for the community besides just being a world champion. He after his first year of winning world championships in the official circuit, like he definitely didn't keep up with his gameplay, right? And he didn't keep up with the mechanics and like it's like it's just like a muscle, right? If you don't like work out your your PvP skills, they're going to get rusty, right? For sure. And Doombug just for the most part has never gotten rusty.
Has not rusted,
kept up with it, right? He's made some
and it's also mad as well because you know what, Doombug's
but that's about it. But he's still good at the game. Yeah,
he's also like staffing and stuff like that.
Yeah,
and yet still, yeah.
I mean, when you staff like half of them and you're playing in the other half, it's still like you're still playing, right? Like Dancing Rob, like literally just staffed them all. Like he literally didn't play any. Yeah, like it was a different situation for Dancing Rob for sure. But again, I think he was pretty content with that too. Like I don't think he was going to Worlds last year expecting anything too much.
There. I don't think so.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
That really spiraled out of control out of the anti breakpoint propaganda comments.
Were we on YouTube?
Oh, okay. TSL. Yeah. Anyway, I say that because like this is not even directed at just you, all right? It's like you Anicor, but like I see people like stress out so much about breakpoints and bulk points, and I guarantee you, if I commentate their battles, I could spot multiple misplays in a single set of 3, right? And that's and so like for me, I'm just like, you got other things to work on, right? And I don't say that for like some people. I say that for like 99+% of the people. Right. I think I said it maybe once or twice in Orlando at the commentary. And I said, this person played flawlessly. Like they didn't make a single mistake. Right. And because I say that because
there was a lot of
because the other 99% of the time when I don't say that, there's a ton of things that they could have changed, even just the small minute details, right, that they could have done, even just from line compositions alone, right? Sometimes the people the moment they locked in the team, they already made the mistake because they shouldn't have even brought that line into that kind of team composition, right? Like it's just not a smart line. You have like one positive matchup with something, like it's just like, why are you bringing this Pokemon, right? But yeah, I say that because like I don't know. Look, I'm not saying you do it specifically, but I know some people. I know some people really stress about breakpoints and bulk points, and not even just like hunting down the breakpoint bulk points. They study the matchups a ton too, right? And I understand there's some value, right? People say there's value and stuff like that, but like I'm just like, I guarantee if you spent your time just scrimming, prepping, and everything like that, I guarantee you'll do just fine with like rank 1s or rank 500 Pokemon, right? That's not just me. That's my
I
thought,
agree.
right?
My thing with the breakpoints is that like
you're hunting for a charge bug breakpoint. You don't even know what you're hunting for.
No, because look, my thing with the breakpoints
for a guy that
like,
barely catches Pokemon, that's you're gonna be hunting for a while. Okay, you get 5 Stardust a week on just catches, right?
Let me take the charger bug as an example, right? So you know, because when I'm like, oh, I'm looking for a charger bug, my thing is that I've got a charger bug that I will use.
It's a rank 3. What do you mean you got a charge bug you use? That's a great charge bug.
Fine, no problem, But I will also catch Grubbin if I ever see them on my screen, And at one point I'll be like, you know what? Let me see all these Grubbin and see if there's any like, any of these Grubbin which I feel like have a slight benefit over my one. Do you know what I mean? Innit? So it's not exactly like I'm putting time into it, innit? Yeah, I'm just catching them if I'm on my screen. There's very few things which maybe I'd like actively hunt, but if I was actively hunting it, I'd like very specifically know exactly what I want. I think the last thing I actively hunted was Altaria, and even when I say actively hunted, like I didn't necessarily go out to get them, but if they were on my screen, I'd catch them and I'd ask for trades, like when I'm doing my 100 trades. So like if my brother caught some, I'd be like, yo, send me Altaria.
This is actually something that just crossed my mind while you're talking about this. Just stay with me here, right? Because I think you might be like, "What are you talking about?" The moment I say this first part. What if there's a chance that going for breakpoints and bulk points to win certain matchups actually ends up netting you more losses overall, because like a lot of the things aren't simmable, right? Like it's like you're not coming even entry stuffing, and you end up losing a lot more, and you end up like, I know the whole point of how knowing breakpoint bulk points is like matchup knowledge that specifies to your Pokemon, but what if going for these actually reduces your matchup knowledge? Or sorry,
I get
matchup
what you're
success.
saying. Yeah.
Because here's the thing, right? The alternative is you run really high rank stuff, right? Because the thing is, people that run high rank stuff also know their matchups. Like that's like, I think that's what people that target breakpoint bulk points don't realize. It's like, oh, like there's this matchup, my thing wins if I do this, right? And I'm just like, well, yeah, but I'm running a high rank stuff. So if when I'm simming stuff or practicing, I know like I'm just simming what happens if you're running high. Like I know what my Azumarill is going to win or not as a rank 1 as well, because it's the rank 1, right? But the difference is, I also know that if I'm running a rank 1 or super high rank 1, I'm going to lose that charge attack priority. So I know how to play out matchups better than someone that's running the weird breakpoint bulk point, because the weird breakpoint bulk point person is not going to know if they're going to win. You don't know if they're running something weird too, right? I know I have the advantage in the sense that I know I'm always going to lose in most situations. So I'm going to know how to know when I should be going for catches or not, or knowing that, oh, it's actually in this mirror matchup, it's just a fast attack down. So even if I lose charge attack priority, I still win. Whereas someone running a higher attack is gambling that they win it, right? But I'm sure there's times where you run something with high attack and you're like, wait, I lost charge attack priority. Like now my plan's out the window, right? Because I don't know what's going on.
I get what you're saying, yeah, but I think the way to look at it is, as opposed to the high attack ones being inferior, as being just something separate, right? So let's take, for example, I guess Shadow Dragonair, yeah.
Okay.
Maybe is Shadow Dragonair a good example?
I don't know where you're going with this, so
yeah. Wait. Let me think of if that's a good example or not.
Why don't you just use Charger Bug?
Okay. Let's. Oh wait, because I don't know the Charger Bug.
Yeah, I don't even know what you're looking for.
Okay. Let's say, for example, okay, Altaria, right? Okay, no. You know what? Let me go back to the classic Lickitung Registeel, right?
Okay.
So look, obviously, in that situation, the person who has like a higher attack on their Lickitung to get that Registeel breakpoint, yeah, they're going to be like, okay, well, I know if I've done this much lick damage, then I'm definitely getting that breakpoint on the opposing Registeel, right?
Okay.
You as a Registeel user are constantly simming your Registeel against rank 1 Lickitungs, yeah? Maybe you're simming it against the default one, but I feel like a majority of the time people are simming them against rank 1s, or they didn't
you
realize
think that's
that
what
they
people
can...
do? I never just sim against rank 1, because
what do you do? Just default?
I'll do
Or you
rank
do
1
both?
and default.
Yeah, I wonder if that really...
But if I'm doing a mass matrix, I'll do high attack as well.
Okay. Well, I guess you go a bit deeper then. Okay, would you
I'm not
have
hunting
known then?
breakpoint bulk points
Yeah.
doesn't mean I don't know my matchups. What do you mean?
Yeah, but like, would
This is
you
what-
would you
that's
be
my whole point.
aware? Would you be aware that you would lose the 2 shield scenario in that situation?
I mean, if it shows up on the Matrix, then yeah, I would be aware.
Yeah, but I feel like
It
a
would
lot of
show.
these things aren't necessarily showing up on the Matrix unless you're like actively putting them in, or like unless you're being
Well,
a bit like smart.
I don't know
about
how
putting them in.
specific the spread is. I don't know
Yeah.
if the default
Outside
hits it,
of
then if the default
Yeah.
hits it or the attack weight hits it, then I'll see it, right? Or attack weight
yeah,
would
but I
definitely.
feel
hit it.
like with some of them, like unless you're putting like you know all the attack on there or something like that, I feel like basically there's certain matchups that aren't going to show up on the Matrix if you're just putting in the default sort of thingies in it. So it's still a case of like knowing the matchup. Do you know what I mean? In it, so it's not necessary that just because.
I figure out a lot of my matchups are from scrims though, because I'll be like, oh, if
Yeah,
I say
that's fair
swapped
enough.
here,
Yeah,
oh, like I didn't realize I could flip this matchup right until I saw it in the scrim. Because I'm like, because what are you gonna do? Input like an extra snarl or something in every single matchup you're simming, right? Like, and it doesn't always equate to that depending on what you're facing off right off the bat, right? You might take a volt switch or something. All of a sudden, it's like different, right? Depending on what your Pokemon is, but.
But then if you feel like you win that, oh, I got an example as well. Actually, I think my Shadow for Alligator wins the. Oh, I can't remember what it was. I think it was like the 1 shields against Annihilate on 1 HP, right?
Okay.
I've made. I think that is due to my IVs being like good enough. Do you know what I mean? But I feel like there are a lot of people who would expect to win that match as the Annihilate. So I feel like in certain situations there might be, yeah, you've scrimmed it, but you've scrimmed it against a particular like version of that Pokemon, and you're like, oh yeah, it seems like I win this. But then it might actually not be the case if you're, up against something that like.
I feel like,
but I feel like we've also tangented way
no,
further than necessary.
No,
as well.
it's not even that. It's just that like I
yeah.
hear all these theoretical things, but it's never the people that are talking so much theories around breakpoint bulk points that are winning these tournaments. Right? Like, again, like outside, like I said from last episode, it's like the Axe effect. Outside of Axe and winning worlds and crediting his breakpoint metacham, I haven't seen anyone who were saying like I won because of this breakpoint bulk point. Right? Yes, you might have won like one specific head-to-head matchup in a game, but then you still might have lost the game, right? Like it's just there's so many factors outside it. Because here's a problem, right? In that head-to-head matchup, even energy, even shields, full health. What is that usually? That's usually the first lead versus the opposing lead, and that's it, right? And there's so much that unfolds after the fact. So like, I feel like even if you have a breakpoint or bulk point on a specific Pokemon that wins you the lead, there's so much that happens after that initial matchup. I mean, there's still 2/3 of the match at least afterward, right? That happens afterward that even someone running a breakpoint bulk point thing can't fully credit that as the reason they win the majority of the time, right, of the game.
But then equally, even in those uneven scenarios, if you're getting like an extra lick damage, for example, then that's only giving you an advantage. Do you know what I mean? But then you know what? Okay,
in that
you know
scenario
what?
against a Registeel, sure, but
but you can
against
also
like
say
a neutral matchup against like, I don't know, like a Steelix, you're taking more
but if you're
damage,
getting
right,
like extra lick damage against something else, but then equally, I mean, you can say the same thing where it's like, well, also in these uneven scenarios, maybe doing extra damage to a Pokemon is worse for you because it might be a situation where actually you want to farm down and you're so it's always the case where it's like there's good and bad,
well,
but
of course.
I don't think you can always say that like it's always bad. Do you know what I
mean? No. I'm not saying it's always bad.
Okay.
My whole point is there are so many factors involved in this, and to stress so much over this rather than just scrimming and practicing more is, I think, a lot of people's downfall because they're spending too much time looking at the breakpoints and stressing over this. Whereas, like I know there's plenty of pros and cons to running high rank stuff. All I know is if you run high stat product, you're going to have more bulk in utility and last longer in most battles over the less higher stat product ones. And that usually, it's just like why people play bulkier Pokemon more, because it gives you a little bit more room for error, right? Higher rank stuff will give you more room for error in my opinion. I mean, I don't know. That might be just a fact, but at least in my opinion, I think that's the case. But yeah, I mean, like I think I think back on what some winners of these regionals say in their interviews, right? Elite's a great one. I remember him saying this clearly. He was like, "Yeah, I just scrimmed a lot. I'm always up for scrims. I do a bunch of battles." He never says like, "I hunted down this lone sand / IV. I did a ton of rockets," right? Like he doesn't, say, and they're always like, and they rarely thank their Pokemon spreads for why they win. They thank all the people they scrim. Obviously, Pokemon spreads also like there's no person to thank, so maybe that's why there's nothing to who they want to shout out the RNG of the game, right? Yeah, when they caught that, maybe that's why that might be part of it. But like all I remember very saliently when I hear these interviews is all these champions that win stuff, these big events, just practice a ton, and they had a bunch of scrim partners. They put a lot of time into the game, just battling and playing the game. And they weren't looking up all these random things. And I don't know. That's all.
I think that's valid.
That's all I gotta say to people is like I just don't want people to be stuck on the wrong. The wrong point, right?
The priorities need to be in the right place. I fully agree.
And I think obviously maybe
there's
I'm
merit
personally
to
biased.
the IVs, but the priority is definitely not up there. Like it needs to be, if you're gonna prioritize it, it would be definitely below practice, below knowing your your matchups, below knowing your own Pokemon, below strategy, gameplay, all that sort of stuff. But I think it's on the list. It's just not high.
I agree. No, you're right. Right. The priority shouldn't be the breakpoint bulk points, but on top of it, what I'm really trying to say is the priority for the vast majority of people, 99+% of people, myself included, should not be the breakpoint bulk points, because even look, I've done pretty well at these tournaments, right? Like if I'm just going to be honest, and even then, I know I still need a lot more practice if I want to be better. And it's not the breakpoint bulk. Like shouldn't be something I even worry about either. Just run the highest rank you have, right? Which is usually what I do, and they go with it, right? Like I have 2 Shadow Gygar made. I made one for Catch Cup, and like one of them is super attack weighted, but I'll almost never run that in tournament, even though it's like almost 90% usage on day 2, right? Oh, that'd be a great time to win Charge Attack Priority. Nah, I'm good, right? Like you can have it. No, it'll be fine. But that's my whole point, right? It's like I think there's just like I know some people are like, yeah, like I know it shouldn't be the top priority, like, but I'm still working on it. I'm like, no, like the most people I hear people say that, I'm just like, dude, you need to just practice, right? I've seen you battle. You need to practice, right? Like it wasn't this. You when you lost at UIC, it was definitely not the breakpoint bulk points, right? Why you lost, right?
No.
You probably could have scrimmed more, right? I know I could have scrimmed more too for UIC. I didn't really practice at all. I played 2 sets of scrims and that was it. Like if I played more, maybe I would have done better too. But anyway, the last part of this comments from TUSL is, but also I have no idea what Anicor is doing, randomly checking Grubbin, but not knowing what spreads he's even looking for. What a fantastic way to wrap that conversation up.
I've just stored them for now. I'm max storage again. Like I need to get rid of some stuff.
All these bugs are making me max storage too. All right, let's talk about Orlando.
I was home of Disneyland.
Disney World. Disneyland's in California. I don't know. Yeah. Disneyland was actually the first Disney, but Disney World's a much bigger one, and because Florida, there's just more space in California, I guess, and there's all the water. Disney stuff. World. Yeah, Disney World is the place to visit, I think. I've been there as a kid. I'm not a big roller coaster person. Anyway, Orlando, history made.
Yeah,
3 regional championships in 1 season.
Absolutely insane
by Doombug.
Yeah,
and on the backs of a quadruple shadow team with a shadow Pidgeot. Like, what is going on? I legit was like, all right, there goes Doombug, right? At it again, gonna throw away like a tournament win because he's gonna run something weird. Like he did this at NAC last year where he ran Trevenant. He was messing me ahead of time, like, no, Trevenant's gonna cook. I was like, nah, they nerfed it. It's not that good. Like, I get that there's a lot of meta champ and Reggie on this meta, but it's not that good. He's like, no, trust. He's like, it'll be good. And then literally, I saw him after he got eliminated on that first day. He's like, yeah, no, you're right. It's not that good. but I give him props for like running stuff, right? Like, he always run stuff. But in his recent string of successes, he did run Skeletors in San Antonio, so I'll give him that. But at Knoxville, he ran a very meta team, right? Double ground, like Annihilate, Charge Bug, whatever, Skarmory, and Lickitung. And then at UIC, he ran the same exact team. He just swapped out Charge Bug for Lantern. I was like, no kidding, he's playing well. He's playing a top meta team, a really good team. He's also a good player. So yeah. But if you give him a terrible team, I'm pretty sure Doombook won't do well. And dude, he still killed it. Like, he lost 3 total games in general.
Do you know what's mad? Yeah, I was watching him play Lickitung, and like, maybe it's just obvious, I don't know, but he made Lickitung look like the best Pokemon in the meta.
What do you mean? It's already a really good Pokemon.
I mean, I know it kind of is, isn't it? Yeah, but at the same time, it's like, obviously the Lickitung usage has dropped a bit. And I'm like, nah, he was cooking with Lickitung, But there were so many situations where, like, first of all, his play was so fluid, which I really loved. Like,
I noticed this too when I was commentating. All his Pokemon takes 10 turns to get to their first attack.
To get to
outside of Lickitung, which is 12. Yeah. But everything was
which
everything
is sick,
else was 2-turn moves. It was just 5, and then there you go. 5 2-turn moves, and there
puts on a lot of pressure.
Ton of pressure.
And he was like saving, a lot of energy on things, switching out, like playing just really nice and fluid.
Yeah.
And his Lickitung as well. Like, there were so many situations where it was like, yeah, you kind of want to swap in, your timer's up. You kind of want to swap out, but you can't really swap out because this Lickitung has like 80 energy, and whatever you swap out into is, do you know what I mean? Innit? Like, I don't think anything's really going to take like multiple body slams, or, even your Annihilape's going to get power whipped. Even at Skarmory, like, okay, Skarmory can eat the damage the best, but do you know what I mean? Innit? It's like, it's wild. Yeah, the guy just had insane foresight.
He's good at the game.
Really aware of his, really aware. Of his
so there's a lot of conversation online where people are saying that, including Axon, the current world champion, saying that he's the current best player in the world. Would you agree?
Yeah.
Even though I actually wrote that tweet. Swept him.
It's true, but I think again it comes. down
that's
to
true.
Like,
Dracovic did post something about it.
Yeah. I was the one who posted that.
Yeah.
I think it's true, and I think there's no doubt Emmy Weedle is a sick player, and he swept him, but I think consistency is how you prove that you're the best, right? Because I don't think you can ever prove that you're the best off of one match, right? You can't be like, well, he lost to Emmy Weedle, so now Emmy Weedle's the best player in the world.
Weedle also had a really good team comp into him too.
Yeah. But I mean, he made no mistakes.
Yeah.
But like, I
good.
think for me, for Emmy Weedle to be discussed in that fashion, he would then need to play in like a few other tournaments and have like really really good and consistent results
this season. Outside of
he's been decent this season, but I think he's just like been shy of top cut a couple times.
33 at Liverpool, 13 at Stuttgart, 25th at Lille.
So average. Obviously, again, like, he's an amazing player, and EUIC is, the most stacked thing of the season.
Right.
But I think it's never like a single match conversation where it's like, oh, Axon won the world championship and then he lost to this guy, so now this guy is better than the world champion. Do you know what I mean? But that run,
have you been Axon before? I'm just rest my case.
I think honestly
I don't actually think I'm better than the world champion. Let's clarify.
The consistency though is insane, right? Not only 3 regionals, but second in an IC and not in the same continent. I think that's a big thing as well, right? Because you can have some people.
It's just like probably the most stacked tournament outside of Worlds.
Yeah. But this is the thing. It's like let's say, for example, it was just these 3 regional tournaments. Yeah, obviously you'd be like, wow, he's one of the best, yeah. But then you might also get a small conversation where it's like, yeah, but that's all in the same region, yeah.
We're the best region,
But
though. What you mean? Top 3 in
doing
worlds.
okay, but doing the but doing the international thing, I think like really
Look,
solidifies
I only
that.
lost to non-EU players, right? I look back at my record against all the EU players I faced. I lost 1 battle.
How many EU players have you
2-1.
faced? Is
It's
this
not
just
about
EUIC or you've only faced EU players?
yeah, I guess so. I don't think I
Yeah, okay.
faced. I mean, on the official tournament format, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a knock at you, but I'm just continuing the banter, right? That Anicor is throwing out there. So I'm just, you know, I gotta say it.
Like
Okay,
I
so
said, yeah, you can't decide
yeah,
things on one
so I
match.
lost 1 game to a previous patron actually doing it for us. He ran a Basti on team 2. And then 1, 2, 3, 4. So I faced 4 Europeans after that, 2 against all of them.
Yeah.
So 10-1.
And you can't decide it on one tournament either. So
come on down to NAIC or whatever. I don't know, LA. Like come on down. I mean, I don't know what do you want me to do? I can't go to Europe for every tournament. Here we got 9-10 Clash.
I guess we'll never
that
know
to you
then.
all, so.
But yeah, I think it's undeniable. Do you know what I mean? And like, there's not really much more you can. Aside from like a whole world championship, and honestly, even going into a world championships, isn't it? Like, I'd say even if he top cuts, I'd be like, raw best player. Unless someone has like a crazy streak from now until then. I mean, I guess there's some people who've been on a decent streak. Maybe Colin 6.
Okay, I'll ask you this: if he goes like 0-2 at Worlds, how would you feel about Doombo?
Honestly, even if he goes 0-2 at Worlds, I think it depends on who he's playing. If he went 0-2 at Worlds last year, I'd be like, well, it's Worlds, right? But I think if he goes 0-2 at Worlds this year, there's a lot of people, you know, it's the new system, right? So it would, in my opinion, depend on who he plays.
I mean, doesn't matter.
But then also, yeah, it's only one tournament.
You're trying to talk about like
time.
he's the best in the world.
Yeah.
If you go 0-2, I feel like the
you
best
can
in the world
afford that.
don't really
Yeah,
go 0-2, right?
Yeah. Well, yeah. I mean, no. But I think if you're going 0-2 against really top competition, it's still fine. Do you know what I mean? Like people lose.
So would you say he's the best player in the world, even if he goes 0-2 at Worlds?
There would be an argument, yeah. Again, I think it depends on who he's playing.
Yeah, you know? I guess so.
If he goes 0-2 against 2 random people, then I don't know. Like, I'd say he's the best player in the world right now, but then obviously something happened. And
I guess like analogy to this was like August. I feel like Wadaj was the best player at Worlds last season.
Yeah, I agree. I agree.
Yeah. But I mean,
because again, he also had a similar
third,
sort of...
though, so like that's a pretty easy argument to make at the same time, right? Like a regional NAIC Sylph Worlds and third out, like,
and then he won the first regional coming back.
Yeah,
so like, I mean, like I think, and that's I think the same kind of thing where it's like the consistency, you know. When you see that kind of consistency, you can't deny it. It's
I get a question for you. Oh, it's because he doesn't go to EIC, right? But if Lyle Jeffs wins Indianapolis because he's going to Indy.
Yeah, I think he would be in the conversation, yeah. But in my mind, I'd be like, he needs to do that international thing first, innit? Because I think the conversation also has Harjef in that. And if Harjef wins this weekend, I'd be like, same, you know, definitely the best player in LATAM, but I want to see him on an international setting to really solidify.
He's already the best player in LATAM for sure.
yeah, for sure, innit, you know.
Even
and you know, I think the same about Jakobovic as well. It's like, you know, 100% he's the best player in Oceania, but I want to see him in an international setting to then compare with, like, you know. And that's just that's just for me. Do you know what I mean? That's like my personal sort of benchmark. I think, you know, like I said, the fact that Dune came second in EUIC makes me think like, yeah, he's the best player in the world right now. You know.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Bruv, imagine coming second at an IC and then a week later.
Less than a week later. Man's still jet lagged. Running a whole different team too. Running a quadruple. Like, when have you ever seen 4 Shadow Pokemon same team actually do well?
Yeah.
Never seen it.
You know what? Honestly,
actually, I think Alan had that at Senior Worlds. that first year, but like there wasn't as much competition. But I mean, the competition was still
It
pretty
was still
strong.
good competition.
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
yeah,
seniors bracket.
yeah,
But he ran 4 shadows.
yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. A quick aside, or not aside really, but it kind of comes under Orlando recap because obviously Perth happened just before Orlando, and there was at least one player, I think it was J-Jan, and there
Yeah, he
probably would have been
copied
other
Ric
players
Flair's
as well.
team.
Yeah, who copied Ric Flair's team. And I think an interesting part of Ric Flair's team was the Shadow Swampert. What's your thoughts
I don't think
on
it's
Shadow
good.
Swampert?
I think it's
You don't
still
think so?
good in a lot of neutral situations, but the problem is we're in like a very heavy lantern meta, and
Mm.
you just like struggle because if you don't land the earthquake, it's like super awkward, right?
But it's
That
like
matchup alone is like
yeah.
super rough. And then also if you're in the head to head with Whiscash, if you keep getting debuffed, it starts looking better for the Whiscash.
Yeah.
Um,
But you like
I do think it's
what
still
about
good
as
though.
a
It's not
yeah,
bad pick. I think
uh-huh.
that Whiscash is just so strong because of Lantern alone. Okay, so here's my thought, right? Gligar is like it is a ground Pokemon that supposedly beats Lantern, but it's super uncomfortable, right? Especially Shadow
Right.
Gligar when they land a Surf. So like it's like kind of like more neutralish at the end of the day. It's Lantern's got plenty of neutral play into land like to Cresselia and Lickitung, even though those will be counters. So what do you have left, right? Most people aren't really running dragons, especially in NA. So you just had the Mud Boy. I mean, no one's really running Clodsire either, right? Or like Diggersby or something like that, or Galarian Stunfisk. So you pretty much just have your Mud Boy and maybe Charge Bug, but that's not like great either. And so if your Mud Boy needs to get to all the way to an Earthquake to actually take you out, it's super awkward.
Yeah.
So, like in past metas where Shadow Swampert was relevant, you had, the Trevenant days, you had Galarian Stunfisk around, pre-Earthquake nerf, and you had Metacham that like was just muscle through in neutral matchups. And Umbreon, right? Umbreon was super relevant because you could just go straight like foul play and just take them out. You just outbulk them. But like in this current meta, we have to go Power Whip on Lickitung or Cresselia is weird. like in general, that matchup. And there's no Galarian Stunfisk and Earthquake's nerfed. Like all you got is Swampert, right? Before when you had Swampert and those other like supporting factors on your team, Lantern was like you didn't need the Swampert just to counter Lantern, right?
Right.
Whereas now like you need your Mud Boy to be your Lantern counter for most teams. And it's just not as reliable in my opinion. I think it's strong though. I mean, JJ made it look good. I didn't watch Rufano's matches. I'm sure he played well with it, but that would be my concern if I had to choose.
Yeah. Fair enough. Yeah. I think it's a decent pick in terms of like because it kind of does it like technically core breaks a lot of things, and then if it's well played, it can like run away with the game.
It looks way better into Annihilate for sure too.
Yeah.
Than Whiscash does.
I think it's an interesting pick.
Would you run it?
I think that's my thoughts on it. Possibly. The thing is, though, is that like initially I was
what
thinking,
you should do? You run it at Bologna, but after if they end up nerfing Whiscash, but you need to make day 2. Because the gamble is you could run an OP Whiscash on day 1 and then you struggle on day 2.
I see.
Or you run the better Mud Boy on day 2, but on day 1 you're struggling, right? So
that's
like
true. Yeah.
so it's kind of a
Just go
weird
with
gamble.
a really bulky team. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's initially I was like, oh, if it was normal Swampert, I'd be way more comfortable with it. Because I feel like with normal Swampert, like the extra bulk kind of makes certain matchups a bit more, like you feel a bit more comfortable in them where, you don't necessarily need to shield certain moves.
I mean, the Shadow's nice for Skarmory, though.
That's the thing, innit? I think that's the
so
biggest
meta
issue.
relevant.
Yeah.
It was like, what,
It was like the
67% or
Noctowl
something
one.
on day 2?
Yeah. I think that's the main reason why you'd have to use Shadow
now,
as
the
well.
problem.
Yeah.
It's too safe.
Yeah.
And like you could run Mana Buzz, but Mana Buzz just has way worse matchups in other respects, I feel like.
Yeah, and
Why
also,
are
I
people
mean,
not
even
running
Mandibuzz
Mandibuzz?
isn't necessarily beating Gligar all the time. Anyway.
Why are people not running? Is it because you can't? Yeah, because Gligar actually has a decent amount of play into Mana Buzz too. So
Yeah. Gligar is.
I guess like
Honestly,
if you're gonna lose
I
to
thought
Electrics anyway, then you might as well just run Skarmory.
Yeah.
I don't know, but I still like Mana Buzz more. But I understand why people are running scar me more now especially after this weekend.
Yeah.
Yo, breakout performance at Beach though.
Yeah,
Dude,
yeah,
he's
yeah.
gone to
Honestly,
what? 20 tournaments? It's crazy.
yeah.
Dude.
I mean, I think he's
gone to probably more
definitely
tournaments than
high
I
top
have.
cut before.
Not that high though.
No.
No, this is by far his highest.
Oh yeah, this was his highest before, but I
Yeah.
think like he's wait, has he not top cut before?
No, he's top cut before. He has
Okay,
top cut.
okay.
Yeah, he top cut at
Okay.
Peoria.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah,
Fourth at Peoria.
Yeah, 1, 2.
Oh, fourth at Knoxville. There you go. So that was
5,
like a
6,
decently high
7.
top cut, in my opinion.
Yeah, 7th at Portland last year. He's like top cut before.
Yeah, fourth at Knoxville though last year. But I
he
guess
hasn't
it's
really
because
top cut this season actually, until now.
Yeah,
He just missed out on a number of top cuts.
But yeah, it was a good performance by Beach.
Wait, no, I think they counted it wrong. This is his 18th tournament. It's not 19. I don't know where he got 19 from.
Maybe from like 2022.
No, but
wait, who counted
it's all on Butters. I don't know. I feel like Butters the one that said 19. I don't know where he got that number from. Either way, it's still a lot of tournaments though. He doesn't scrim though. He just goes to tournaments. He says he never scrims or practices.
Mad.
Apparently, I was talking to Abhinav, who's teammate at Chicago Stars, and apparently he doesn't scrim his matches for like team tournaments either. He just goes in. So
fair enough. I guess that works for some people.
Wild, yeah.
Yeah, you
know. But yeah, he was running triple flyers.
Yeah,
just kind of nutty. But he's playing on point though. He was.
Yeah.
I mean, he looked pretty good.
Yeah.
Until he faced Doom.
Well, see, this triple flyer thing though is that like this is like something that's picking up a lot more steam. Obviously, a few players have played it prior to this regional, but I think there's a lot of players.
Altari looks good outside of Polyrath teams. Against like Annihilate, I think it's good. Which I think I like how the team's built because the Altari and Gligar are super strong into the Annihilate.
Mm-hmm.
So, but if you face a Polyrath team, you're fine because you have the mirror matchup with your Polyrath at least, right? So, personally, I don't love how Polyrath feels, but he made it look good though. It just feels too slow. But then again,
I think it's just like really actually having it's like mainly the Gligar matchup, right? But like actually having the ability to potentially one shot if you land an Icy Wind, but then also, obviously it's not as quick as an Ice Punch, but like if you throw the Icy Wind, then you're living the Aerial Ace and you're probably getting to the next Icy Wind. So it's like it's almost kind of like Medicham in terms of like getting value out of a Gligar counter swap, that sort of thing. So yeah, I think it's interesting. At least also versus the Shadow Polygraph as well, because obviously the Shadow Polygraph's not necessarily going to do that.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. But yeah, overall, good tournament. I don't know. I feel like everyone could see from a mile away that Doom's going to win it. The moment that he won that winners finals, I was like, it's over.
Yeah.
Like, there's no like beating Doom in one best of 5 is crazy hard. You had to reset the bracket and do it again. That's so tough. That is so tough. He definitely looks on point.
He's a machine. Yeah.
We'll say that.
It's exciting though.
He's not competing in LA. I asked him.
Yeah, but he's competing at NAIC though, so
probably. If I were to guess, I don't think the applications for judges has even come out for that, but I don't think he would he would pass up the opportunity to compete in IC.
Yeah, I think so.
But I was hoping he'd compete in LA actually.
Yeah, but I think NAIC is just like a better stage. Do you know what I mean?
Oh no, I guess it's judging at LA too.
Oh right.
I just want the chance to face him.
I
actually do really well against him in scrims because he's like one of the few people that hits me up for scrims once in a while. It's been a second. The last time I scrimmed him was probably NAIC or Worlds last year. But doing scrims also is not necessarily like indication of how you play on stage, but like I like played decently well into his playstyle, I think. Some people I struggle in scrims against, like Hard Jeff. He might just be better by far, though, in general. So I don't know.
Might be
I don't know.
Yeah,
but
you could see him this weekend.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I actually do owe him some scrims. He was asking me for some earlier, so hopefully we can send some battles. But anyway, that was pretty much Orlando. It's a good time.
So in keeping with the theme of regionals, we did also have some Asia qualifiers over the weekend as well.
I'm gonna need you to keep this on a Spark Note level, though. Don't list every Indian player that played in qualifier number 2, right? I seen the Dracovic graphics. Too,
yeah. So the Dracovic graphics up and India qualifier number 2. So I think one thing that's interesting, because I only just processed the data this week in terms of the usage stats from India qualifier number 1 and number 2. So firstly, there was 256 players in the number 1. And players weren't allowed to enter both. So number 2 only had about 100 players, just short of 100 players. And I think meta-wise is super interesting because actually in the first qualifier, the most used Pokemon, Cresselia, had only 16% usage. And the reason for that is actually because there were so many, I think there was a lot more casual players playing in that first qualifier. So there were like 300 unique Pokemon used in the whole tournament, which is a wild amount. There were more Raichu. Bruv, Stunfisk at number 2. There was more Kanto Raichu than Lickitung. Yeah. So, but the thing is that like, that's only obviously attesting for like a majority of the players, because obviously
the
there
top
was
players,
majority
especially
of
in a Swiss bracket, you're gonna just face most
exactly. Once you start getting like past, I'd say round 3, then you're starting to play against the proper players. But it seemed like the second tournament was a lot more condensed, so you had the kind of meta that you would expect. Lantern at 50% usage is kind of wild though. Cress at 46. But in terms of qualifiers, so Scarlet Wiz and Harish, the 2 world qualifiers from last year,
lifespan was real short. Just going back to extinction, which is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and I mean, the thing is though, is that like, what would you say is the reason for that? Because I feel like outside of the electric, which was on everyone's teams anyway, it's not like it's got like awful matchups against things. People aren't usually running Cress and Lickitung, and they were using one of the.
It was Whiscash.
Whiscash would be the reason that Azumarill is low.
Yeah, because Whiscash beats Azumarill in the 2 shields and Shadow beats in the 1s as well.
Yeah, but the thing is, that was still the case last season anyway. And
well, Azumarill it started to dip off as well when Annihilate came around. And
do you think it's just like too many neutral factors?
No, what is the reason? That's not even the reason. I had this in my mind, but I forgot like.
Because honestly,
so there's a reason why Crest picked up in usage actually, and I think that was because why was Crest not as relevant before?
So people would tended to use Licky before, but I'd say Crest has a bit of a better. Yeah, that's the thing. Licky actually has a better Skarmory matchup. What was the reason?
I don't know, but Crest picked up a ton in usage.
Maybe lack of Charger Bug.
Yeah, well, what's the reason for lack of Charger Bug? More Gligar?
I don't know. Maybe
more Gligar and double. There's a lot of double ground teams.
Yeah,
because Whiscash usage actually makes a lot of sense because there was more Poliwrath usage before. It's like Poliwrath Gligar, but then people started transitioning to Whiscash, and then now it's like with double ground plus Annihilate, right? So you're not even giving up the Whiscash for the Annihilate, whereas you give up the Poliwrath for Whiscash. So double ground makes, it makes Charge Bug a little bit hard to play, but then again, Lantern's not enjoying the Whiscash. It just has more.
Wait, do you think it's another sort of thingy where it's like the Feraligatr effect, where everyone's like, well, people are going to be.
I feel like Feraligatr team building for Feraligatr though. That's the thing.
No. It's not that. It's like people are team building for Feraligatr, and then as a result, my Azumarill is just not going to have a good time. I don't know.
I really think it's Whiscash mainly.
Yeah.
And then of course Lantern pickup usage is not a good time.
Yeah, Lantern doesn't help.
That's what it is. Lantern's picking up a usage. Why? Because that's more playing through Gligar, and Gligar's super meta, and also Lantern's Skarm is picking up a ton of usage, right? Which Lantern's way better into than.
I guess Skarm is a bit
but
Azumarill as well as the
but here, well, it's not even that. No, Skarm is amazing into Cresselia though. It's way better into Cresselia than Azumarill. But
no, as in like in terms of as a flyer, like it's a better flyer.
Well, people aren't really dropping usage in Gligar. They're just adding Skarmory on top of it.
Yeah.
But no. So here's the thing. It's because the Lantern usage is increasing, right? And because of that, Cresselia is more free because there's less Charger Bug. You're mainly only worried about just Skarmory, right? Cresselia was really hard to use when there was Skarmory and Charger Bug around, right? And so that way Azumarill had a little bit more play. But yeah, that's what it was.
I still feel like it's not necessarily warranted. I feel like people could bring Azu.
No, I mean, I get you, but I looked into some of the team building. Like I tried team building around it, and it just made no sense to run it. Yeah, it was just better to like run. Because I think
I guess also it's like, are you gonna
too many things weak to Lantern is a problem? Because Azumarill hard walled by it, right? Like the biggest flip is the Azumarill versus Cresselia, because if people are picking up usage and Skarmory to help counter Gligar, so let's say you have a Skarmory and Gligar on your team, right? Just insta lock-ins, and you bring a Azumarill, then you have a Lantern that beats like pretty much all three, or has a lot of play into the Gligar, right? And then on top of that, you have like your own electric that's going to be neutral, like a mirror match of a Charge-Bug, which is still favored neutral. And then what's your other Pokemon? Like a Nihilave, that's also not going to like beat it hardcore, right? So then you just have Whiscash left, and that's it, right? So you have to rely on Whiscash only to really reliably beat Lantern, unless you have a Cresselia. That's why I think. I thought this through the other day because I was thinking through. I'm like, why is the meta different right now, right? Because I think I was team building myself, and I was just like, why is Cresselia just that much better? And that's the conclusion I came up with. I think it makes sense.
Fair enough.
Plus, no one actually uses Mana Buzz besides me.
Yeah. Well, Scarlet Wiz used the Mana Buzz. Yeah, there you go. But yeah, so the two world qualifiers
they actually ran Gligar and Skarmory though. So
yeah, but I think that's also like a variation of the triple flyer in it. Like one of your flyers is going to be weak to Fairy, whether it's Altari or
they didn't have a counter user, which is kind of wild.
That part's interesting, to be honest.
Vig is so safe in that team. Not really.
But so Scarlet Wiz and Harish, two players who, obviously qualified last year, have made it to playoffs now. Recognizable names from this list: Vroom Vroom Power, obviously the Sylph World Champion as well, also made it through. But you know what? One unfortunate thing is that, like, again, so players can only enter one of these tournaments, and you have to get top 8.
Yeah,
and I'm like, bruv, imagine if it's just not your day that day. That's it for a year. You're done for the year. Do you know what I mean? I feel like they need to. I don't know. It would be nice.
TBCI regions got it good.
Literally. Because honestly,
even New Zealand these days, you got it good.
Yeah, honestly, it's so true. Like you've actually got other opportunities, but here it's like, perform that day or that's it.
Yeah.
But yeah, so congratulations to all those trainers. You can see the graphic on the Dracoviz thing. And then we also had Indonesia. So that graphic is not currently up. However, when you guys are listening to this, it will be. Let me just quickly...
just tell me who won.
Well, it wasn't a 1, innit? Because it went into playoffs, innit? Yeah.
You mean the notable names.
So obviously you got people like you got Garando King, the
Mr. Rayquaza. I respect that.
Man, Rayquaza.
No Rayquaza on this team, right?
No Rayquaza on this team, unfortunately.
Well, Breaking
you had Panic, also a recognizable name, Mini Coke, who also qualified. So I think one name that I would have liked to see qualify was Jody Anger, and he was one of the players where I looked at it, I was just like, it wasn't his day. And as a result, he has to wait until next year because he performed really well in our APC Champions Tournament last season. He also made it to playoffs in the Indonesia qualifier last season as well. However, this time around, just couldn't make it happen. Tom Seen, who was the champion from last season, also made it through. And then there's a few other names: Yuki X CYZ, some other names that I don't recognize. So. But yeah, those are the main ones. I mean, Panic obviously is like the most well-known in terms of Indonesian players. And did qualify in the first season, but didn't quite make it last year. So, But this season, this year again, there's only 2 slots. So interesting to see who
Tough
makes it.
competition.
Honestly, there's like a few players there where I'm like okay, Mini Coke had an amazing he was on amazing form in APC last season. I think APC is a decent benchmark as well because like the format's the same and they're playing like loads of games throughout the whole season, right? So he was on insane form last season. You got Tom Seen who won the tournament last year. You got Panic who's like, well, there's like a lot of really good players where it's like, 2 spots is difficult.
Yeah.
And so this weekend, I believe we have some of the South Korea ones. So,
I think that's why a lot of the APAC region players last year at Worlds in Yokohama actually performed pretty well. Like better than a lot of people expected. Like better than a lot of like these like NAEU players because we had like way more chances to qualify, whereas they only got one and go, right? So
that's true.
I wouldn't be surprised if like they'll overrepresent on like day 2 or top cuts. Like there'll be more APAC players percentage wise than like some of the other regions.
Yeah, I agree. Especially considering like the difference in numbers that there's going to be as well. Yeah, I would agree on that.
Yeah.
And last thing, the weekly Japanese rundown. Some additions to the qualifiers. Again, I'll just point out the ones that I recognize.
Look, just say DFH and we'll call it a wrap.
Well, he's okay. So far, he's not on this list. Panda, R9 Panda. He's like
DFH made it.
Did he make it?
Yeah, he tweeted.
Oh yeah, there you go. DFH. Yeah. Well done to DFH. Obviously, didn't manage to do it last year. So,
like I said, the best player I've ever scrimmed against. Like I haven't played him in official tournament because I mean, when am I going to have that chance? But
yeah, not a chance.
His like absolutely insane like gameplay. I'm staying up for PJCS, that's for sure.
Yeah. Honestly,
I'm watching you playing at Bologna. I'm watching PJCS, right?
Oh, I forgot they're happening at the same time, man.
Same time.
Yeah.
It's okay. Worry about yourself. Worry about your Shadow Swampert and making it to day 2.
And yeah, a couple other names. Innocent, Dabide, who came like I think top 5 or top 6 of PJCS last year. So yeah, more good players. Uraama, I recognize that name. Yeah, more good players being added to the PJCS list.
Okay.
Yeah, that's this week in Asia.
All right, sounds good. Rooting for my teammate Alan to hopefully make it, but we'll see if he does or not. Runner up to Senior Worlds.
I think usually what happens as well is that like the first month of these tournaments are like kind of scattered in different regions, and then in the second month they're like all in either Tokyo Mega Pokemon Center or Osaka Mega Pokemon Center, and that's it. So in that case, like those ones are kind of a bit easier to like schedule for. Like I reckon you could even go down to one of those cities for the weekend and potentially compete in multiple tournaments. Yeah, that's true. But you could get lucky on like multiple lotteries, or like on over 2 days.
Or you could get lucky on none of them.
Yeah, that's also true. Yeah.
We got some events coming up. We have Sustainability Week, which is kind of like a yearly event. But yeah, so anyway, we got some decent Stardust, I guess, coming from this. Why is it
good stuff to stack?
Yeah, this like website doesn't really say much at all. It's from the 22nd to the 26th, so next week.
Honestly, it's better off going on to the Galax.
Well, I know, but I'm just shocked at how like I don't know. It's a little.
Well, apparently one of the I don't know if it's a complaint, right? But like, because obviously we just got the information of the Sustainability Week like a few hours ago, and a lot of people are complaining about the fact that there are no event spawns. This is purely just eggs and research task, and then like the little bonuses and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's true. Actually, that might be why. Yeah.
Yeah.
So just a bunch of egg stuff like Combi, Fungus, Trubbish, the main ones. Worth the dust. Research tasks are pretty much the same thing. Half distance to earn buddy hearts.
Drillbur as well for anyone who hasn't got Master League extra.
Yeah, but no, she does. But yeah, Drillbur. Half
half doesn't earn buddy hearts is kind of like a weird one. Like, who's really grinding the best? I mean, some people do grind best buddy, but it'd be better if you get like extra candy for something half the distance.
Yeah, that would be cool. Yeah.
Will be on the map longer after being fed the buddy, stuff like that. Greater chance of having a shiny when you hatch eggs. That's pretty good. Yeah, it's actually a fairly underwhelming event, all things considered.
Yeah.
But I did see John just post something about how this event seems like a money grab, which I can see why.
Yeah.
I can see why.
I mean, one thing I would say, and like this is just from like my perspective, the current event, the bug out event, has seemed pretty missable. And so does this one as well.
Dude, I've been hunting the shuckle, man. I need that shuckle.
Oh yeah, but you're trying to do that, bruv. No,
all these bugs too. I'm saving for mass evolutions too.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, you got purpose
plus things to evolve.
For me, it felt a bit missable, and I feel like this next one also the same. But then it also just kind of feels like a nice break, I think that not every time
I'm not heated about it or anything, but it does feel like
I think not every time you need like a big event, especially because it keeps your screen time down, like healthier. I don't know.
My man's not grinding during Stardust events either, so I don't know what he's talking about. But anyway, we have another event coming up. It's the Community Day. Coming this weekend, actually. We didn't talk about it last week.
No, we just discussed the Blazer.
Yeah, we just played. But it's on April 20th, this Saturday, from 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. local time. Bellsprout, number 69 Pokemon. We got 3-hour incense lures as usual. 3 times Stardust for catching, so pretty good. Obviously, double candy and all that stuff. And the special move is Magical Leaf, which it's not the best move, but it's not bad.
It's not leafage either. I realized
it's not Violent either. Violent made
3
kind of too OP.
So it's like a little ice shard victory bell.
Kind of, yeah. I think a lot of people are still going to rely on Race Leaf. I mean,
yeah. Well, I think
Pokemon
the comparison
in general
is
really hard to
right?
use in the tournament circuit in general. So
yeah.
Good luck if you want to try to use it, but I personally probably wouldn't recommend.
What's the pacing? So if you had with Magical Leaf on a Leaf Blade, it's 6 seconds and then 4.5 seconds. So I guess it's not like too dissimilar to. I don't know. I
tell me turns or Magical Leaf, like how many fast attacks?
Oh, Magical Leaf is 3 turns.
Magical Leaf is 3-turn move.
Yeah. Because I think Leafage is the 2-turn move. Yeah. So Magical Leaf is 3-turn move and it's 10 energy.
That's even like less comfortable.
Yeah. So it's like I'm trying to compare it to like Venusaur. And I guess like the pacing is like kind of similar-ish. Where
that's bad when Razor Leaf feels easier to use sometimes.
Yeah. So. Oh well. But who knows? Innit? Maybe I've been clipping for ages.
Yeah. Leafage is definitely the more preferable move, I guess. But
yeah.
Either way, get your Stardust, I guess, is the moral of that story.
Well, see, one thing I'm wondering, right, is do nest spawns appear during Community Day? Is there any way that we can turn back time and get these Ordinos at 3 times Stardust?
I don't. I think it if
it just overwrites it completely.
I don't know. Someone should comment down below actually if you know this.
Comment down below before Saturday, please.
Yeah, but I probably hard to say. Hard to say.
I'm just constantly like every event that comes out, I'm like, Ordino? Is there
a way? There is Double Dust today, but it's right over for you.
Yeah, but I feel like that also
would definitely override
it.
Yeah, I think it'll probably override it. Although, this can't be the first time, right? Otherwise, people would have talked about it already. But
true. Damn.
And then we got Necrozma.
That's an interesting one though.
Coming to GoFest.
I think there's a couple reasons why that's interesting, right? One, obviously Necrozma, that's kind of cool. However, 2, I feel like it would kind of
fuse with certain Pokemon or something?
Yeah, I don't actually know. So it fuses with Solgaleo and Lunala to make different forms. But the way that they dealt with different forms, because also Sorry. Well, no. This is the thing. I feel like Cosmog will probably be in raids at GoFest because it just seems like it would come hand in hand. Do you know what I mean?
Yo, that would be
Where,
nice.
yeah, I feel like that makes sense to like release Cosmog properly around GoFest time. If you're doing all this stuff, if you're doing the Necrozma,
Yeah.
Ultra Beast, all that sort of stuff. And the way that they've previously done alternate forms, was okay. The main example of it was Curum. So when everyone got the Curum Black and the Curum White, and they just changed it into Curum thing. But those were like their own Pokemon, right? So we can assume that Necrozma Dusk and Necrozma Dawn will both be also their own Pokemon. So I reckon that's probably a while away. But looking at normal Necrozma, it's a pure Psychic type. I don't know if the moveset on PV Poke. I don't know if this is. There's not very many moves, so maybe this is a data mine moveset. So again, like grain of salt. Confusion and Psycho Cart. So let's say Psycho Cart, and then it's got Night Slash, Power Gem, and Rock Blast. Yeah, it doesn't seem that great. Stats wise, I wonder what it compares to. So it's 4100 CP.
Yeah. Well, that would be probably scaled down a little bit as usual for Master.
Do you think
Pokemon.
so?
They always scale everything down.
But Mewtwo's 4700. So like, would you need to scale that down? Isn't it only anything that goes above 5000?
No. Like Mewtwo was scaled down before release. Too.
Yeah.
What I'm saying,
but as in, like, isn't it only things that go above 5000 that they scale down? Or do they scale down?
I don't actually know. Maybe.
I don't know. I don't know, to be honest. Yeah. But I mean, the current stats.
It's just a worse Mewtwo.
Yeah, it really is.
With worse moves.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be a dark type or something because it's like.
Because it's all dark
in the shadows. But let's wait for it to fuse, I guess, with
yeah.
the other stuff. I think that's might be the only saving grace it has. But we'll see.
When you look at, actually, to be honest, when you look at the fusion ones, because they are different types. Yeah,
What's
so like you got Psychic Steel on the Dusk main because it fuses with Solgaleo, and Psychic Ghost.
Wait, Psychic Steel?
Yeah, so
isn't it? What is it right now?
Just Psychic.
No, I know, but what's Solgaleo? It's Psychic
Steel.
Oh,
it's also Psychic Steel, yeah.
So it's not changing the typing of it, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, but it's changed the typing of Necrozma. It's not changing the typing of Solgaleo.
Sure. I mean, obviously, unless they're both the same typing, one of them changing. But like, it's not like Solgaleo changed into something cool typing, right? I thought that was going to change.
No.
Okay,
but
what's
if
Lunala?
you compare, Lunala's, I think it does the same.
What type is
it? It goes into Psychic Ghost, and Lunala's also Psychic Ghost. So yeah, I guess it doesn't change typing then. It changes to the typing of the thing that it turns into.
Interesting.
But if you look at the stats of Solgaleo, Solgaleo just has a lot more HP, but Necrozma is a lot more offensive. So there's some a bit more of a niche there, for the same typing.
Yeah.
With the Lunala one, however, obviously Lunala itself isn't really relevant, but it's mainly because of the moveset, I'd say. But Lunala, I think Lunala actually has the same stats as Solgaleo, so I guess it would be the same thing. More offensive. So you know what? Maybe Dawn Wings can actually be usable where Lunala isn't really.
Yeah.
But yeah, those ones are far away anyway. But hopefully Cosmog, that would be kind of cool.
Hopefully. Well, we'll see. Yeah, I didn't even think about Cosmog being potentially raids, but that could be pretty cool.
Yeah.
You haven't done really any GBL, so we're just gonna skip over that section. I mean, personally, I haven't done it either. But so the tea this week. What's the tea? Well, there's a big announcement on Pokemon Go or Niantic's Twitter. I forgot which one. They were saying that big announcement coming. And Anicor, what was that big announcement?
I was thinking, almost like when we got level 50. That was like the way they were phrasing it, right?
Some people asked.
There was a little
some people actually asked me, they're like, "Do you think it's gonna be level 60 or something?"
Yeah.
I was like, "No, I don't think
so."
And
it was the yesified avatars and the pretty backgrounds.
Where was this actual tweet though? I feel like maybe it was on.
Do you think they
Niantic?
deleted it? Nah, they wouldn't delete it. No, it was on the
No.
Pokemon Go one. It was on the Pokemon
I
Go.
don't see it on the Pokemon Go account.
Maybe they just tweeted loads of stuff since.
No, I've gone all the way back to UIC. It was before that, right?
Really?
It was after that. Sorry.
Wait, it's not on their thing. Do they delete stuff? Because I've never even.
I don't know.
Like, checked,
I'm not trying to.
Oh no,
say
here
they
it is.
did.
It's on the Pokemon Go one.
What date did they do
11th
it?
April.
Oh, 11th of
Big
April.
updates. Yeah.
Oh yeah, big updates to Pokemon Go are coming. So the thing with the big updates, also, I didn't think it would just be like updates that's already been released in other regions, right? I mean, obviously there's something more to it. So let's take a look at exactly what there is. So there's few feature highlights. Why does it say coming soon? When
because there's like a couple things that are like not fully rolled out yet.
I guess so, but like Galix's graphic array has like the stuff.
So avatars have already rolled out.
Okay, yeah.
No, because if you look on there, so 17th of April is the
17th is Avatar update. So tomorrow for me, it's the last time I'm not going to look weird, I guess, in this game. 22nd of April is Rediscover Your World, new backgrounds, and also Rediscover Kanto. Kanto Pokemon will make their homes in certain biomes, which, I mean, I do still need a Hundo Squirtle, so maybe that's not a blessing. That's a blessing in disguise. May 7th, Rediscover Your Reality, Go Snapshot update.
Yeah. Not gonna lie, I never really used AR now. I don't really.
I feel like this is just like a good example of how I don't know who's making the decision at Niantic, right? So I'm not like trying to say every Niantic employee by any means. In fact, it's probably like a bigger project that was headed up by some people higher up. But I don't think the players want this. And I'm not even speaking for PvP. I'm just saying like generally speaking, right? Like one, to even say this is like a big update is like kind of no. Look on from like an engineering level, right, and a dev level. I'm sure it did take a lot of work to do all this stuff. So I'm not trying to discredit that or like diminish the work they put into it. But from a player experience, this is not a huge update. The most I've seen people tweet about this is how they're complaining about how it looks, right? Like like okay, again, this is not like saying like it has to be like this, but when they had the glitch with the expanded distance or catch stuff, people are losing their minds in a positive way. And that was a glitch, right?
Yeah.
And that's all I'm saying. Like, you don't even have to put all this work into like yassifying everyone's faces and changing up all the backgrounds to get people excited. Yeah. Like, it's not, I guess like the best way to describe it is just because you put in a lot of work doesn't mean that it's going to be well received, right? It's kind of like I feel like it's kind of like YouTube videos, right? Just because YouTube videos put in a lot of work and production doesn't mean the video goes viral, right? It could be just Rebecca Black singing, Friday and stuff, and next thing you know, that's like one of the most iconic songs of the modern like decade, right?
Yeah, I watched a whole documentary on that.
Oh, there's a documentary on it. She got a lot of harassment, unfortunately. But again, what goes viral, what's well received, isn't necessarily just stuff you put a lot of time into. Yeah. But I don't know who they're asking when they're workshopping this stuff. Like, I'm not in the what do you call it? The like Niantic partner program or anything. So I don't know if they asked the Niantic partners, but I don't know. I actually don't know if anyone that does PvP.
Do you know what? I feel like what you said about like what goes viral and what's not. Yeah, I think this is almost a good example of that, where it's like, whoever's doing the marketing would obviously have expected this to get a better reception than it has, and
dude, the speculation of what the update was got better reception.
Yeah,
it was more so of a letdown of realizing that this is what it is. Like, honestly, level 60 would have been chaos, but that would have been interesting at least.
And I think that's like, I don't know. Do I want to call it bad marketing? Because look, obviously here, they're almost trying to appeal to new players.
You can't market this any better. Is my problem, right?
Yeah. Do you think this is appealing to new players though?
No. Who's gonna look at the new yassified avatars and be like, I'm gonna play Pokemon Go now?
But to be fair, also, that's not what got people into Pokemon Go to begin with. If those were the avatars to begin with, people still would have loved the game and started off like, the background, same thing, right? It's like, I'm not going to play this game just because it's a big different background. It's not, I don't think it's going to, I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it does draw people in. Like, I won't see the data myself. So maybe Niantic people will see it and be like, oh, we actually got a whole new bunch of people playing the game again, right? And
because it's definitely like aimed there, right? Because again, it's like, who even takes AR pictures? But then we're saying that from a PvP's perspective. Do you know what I mean? That's like the most irrelevant thing for us to do, you know?
AR photos, I think, in general.
Even in general.
A few people that love photography, yeah. That's about it. I mean, the people that played the game generally are never raving about the AR stuff, right?
That is true, yeah.
But AR was just like a happy coincidence, I think, for Pokemon Go. Like, I don't think anyone got into the game because of AR. They got into the game because of Pokemon and because of parts of the game that was very novel back in the day. And I don't think this rediscovery thing gets people back into the novelty of the game, you know? Oh my gosh, my face looks different in my avatar. I'm gonna go grind and catch some Kanto Pokemon now. Yeah. I'll be back in a couple hours. Like, that's not... I'm not trying to be pessimistic. I'm just trying to be, like... trying to be real with y'all, you know?
Yeah. That said, though, I do, like, separately to the marketing of it all, but I think we said this before anyway, like a few weeks ago.
It's just a lot of resources for something that's not well received.
For little stuff, yeah.
Like, I wish they just put this time and effort into something else, you know?
Yeah.
That's just my take on it, at least. I don't know. But yeah, like, what? I don't know. I don't know what to say, but it is a weird one. Let us know what you all think of this, right? I think some people are just ambivalent. I think some people are just like making fun of it, and I think there are very few people that are super excited about it. But if you are,
tell us why.
Tell us why.
We'd like to know.
Tell us why. Yeah. So, yeah, I don't know. I just think there needs to be like, there's got to be focus groups or something, right?
Yeah, this is true. Because also, you know what? When I'm thinking about the marketing thing, I'm just under the assumption that the marketers are kind of like completely out of the loop. And so in my mind, it kind of makes sense. I'm just like, oh yeah,
marketing people these at all. It's like,
I think it's the marketing people because obviously,
it's no. Someone made the executive decision to have a bunch of people develop these new avatars and features.
No. But I think the new avatars and features are fine because I would say that they're just a part of like a lot of the quality of life stuff that's been happening recently anyway. So
I don't think that's a quality of life stuff, though. That's just aesthetic stuff that I don't think is necessary. I don't hate it. I don't love it.
It's not necessarily, but I think
like, I feel way better about the heal. Like, it's not even comparable to the heal all button or the ready up button.
Yeah, true. I'm under the assumption that it's also in the same kind of like workload, but maybe it's not. Maybe it's like a lot of effort in it. But I was under the assumption that's the same.
Yeah, but I don't know what the workload looks like. Maybe heal all took forever too.
I have no idea. But if it is, then I'm like, you know what, this welcome in it, But I also don't necessarily think it's like a, something to necessarily do an entire marketing campaign around.
Yeah.
I think also these kind of marketing campaigns with the videos and stuff like that, right? What are recent ones that are comparable? Things like GoFest, stuff outside of those kind of events. That Ultra Beast one, right? That was like some big marketing, they did the whole thing.
Cool.
And that one made sense,
Yeah.
Because it was like, oh, that's cool, isn't it?
The actors that were in LA doing that stuff was a little weird. I used to live like literally like a few blocks away from that. Actually, it was like a 10-minute walk. Yeah. But I was in Brazil when that happened, so I couldn't even go. It was at LAIC.
I think my brother and Tomahawk got a little cameo in the London video.
Yeah.
Which is kind of funny. But yeah, it's like, something like that, like you said, innit? Like the draw for that was the Pokemon that came with it, right? But I think it's a bit strange to be putting like marketing campaigns on like things like this, innit? But again, maybe it's going to draw in new players. That's obviously the aim, but I don't know. I'm not sold.
Just
Just work with us, Niantic. That's not like
please fix
us
PvP
specifically. No, not even that. It's just like just work with the player base, right? Like that's all I ask. The PvP bug stuff, I feel like is like obvious to them, right? They know that's like I don't even think that's an issue. I think it's just stuff like this. It's just like just workshop with people. I don't know. Like if you want to take away remote raids and all that stuff, wherever, like that's fine. Like if it doesn't align with your values and stuff, but there's no way yassifying people's faces and doing backgrounds to part of your values and missions. This was just like you all thought it was a good idea, and maybe it is. I don't know. Maybe a lot of people like it, but I'm guessing based on the reaction I at least see on Twitter, that's not the case. So, it's not bad. I mean, besides the avatar stuff, like the background stuff looks cool, but it's just it's not. I don't think it's what keeps people coming back to the game or gets more people in. But
Also, Mrs. Background Engineer, whoever. I want to turn off the background, and the button isn't working. So,
why do you want to turn it off?
22nd of April, yeah. Just I click turn off background, and it just
no. Why do
stays
you
there.
want to turn off the background?
Oh, it kind of lags things out a bit. So it's like sometimes you'll press on a Pokemon, and like instead of a smooth Pokeball, you'll have that like drag, and the whole experience is like that for a while, which is a bit annoying. But there's an option to turn it off, and it even says like turning it off can like save battery and stuff like that, but it doesn't actually turn it off. So yeah, if you could get to that,
if you're all listening,
just listening, yeah.
Anyway,
20 second.
We're gonna wrap it up here. I actually have to go. I have a thing in a few minutes, and we're running 2.5 hours. So next week, hopefully, Anicor has face paint on.
I will. My teeth are still hurting, but I will.
Dude, this. You're like literally. If you don't hit legend next week, you're 3/4 of the way through that clown meme, right? Like I'm gonna
wait. Wait, what do you mean 4?
Because for every week you don't hit.
Oh, there's no.
The clown meme
because
is 4 things, right?
you used the extended clown meme, where you only had one half done at first. Oh, but no, you're right.
No, it's 4-parter. What do you mean? It's a 4-parter. Yeah. First is just white face.
Yeah, it's because there's different versions. Some versions start off with half a face. Some versions start off with a full face. So I assumed there was like a 5-parter where it goes half.
Sorry,
and then full.
Yeah, I guess I did.
Yeah.
Do you want to do half face?
Well, I'm gonna do the same as you, so I'm gonna do half.
Well, the weird part is the third part and the fourth part are the same.
Yeah, I know. It's just someone's putting it on. Maybe if I have any hands lying about.
What, you going to hold the wig over your head the whole time? That's weird.
No, I'll just have.
Honestly, look, you could do half face or not, but honestly, if you don't hit legend by next week, you're gonna have the full get up, right? So you might as well order the color wig and the nose soon.
Yeah. Again, it's Amazon, isn't it? So I can do it next day. It's fine. If I don't reach by the weekend, then I'll be ordering it. But.
Yeah, because they'll need it anyway for who knows how many weeks after that. You do realize you have to constantly wear it, right? For like until you hit legend.
I know.
At least we record the podcast in your evening, so you just put on the makeup and wash it off. But
yeah. It makes it
should be a good time.
But then the thing is, I feel like that kind of makes it less easy because let's say there's a particular evening where I'm feeling particularly tired. I have to go through the effort of washing it off. Or I go to sleep. If you're feeling
tired about it, just start your morning off with it and just keep it on all day, Dude, you should really just look into some side gigs for like clown entertainers while you're at this. Yeah, I could work exactly 1 day a week every Tuesday. Yeah. I'll be free all day until the evening. Yeah, don't worry. Oh, kid's birthday party? Oh, the birthday party's on Wednesday? No, you gotta celebrate on Tuesday. I'm booked on all the other days but Tuesday.
Yeah.
All right, Mr. Coriander. It's been a blast. We will catch you all next week. Peace out.